Hey there, you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about
that?
All right, Joseph. It is almost the middle of June.
Yeah. Coming up on half year.
Yep. Time just flies. You know, we didn't celebrate our 300th episode.
Yeah, I did
2 episodes ago. I think it was the shorter episode where Donald Trump became a convicted felon of 34 charges.
Yes.
Yeah.
I said, I think I tweeted something like, if I had known that Trump would have been convicted of 34 felonies on our 300th episode, I would have been trying to do 3 or 4 episodes per week to like speed up the process.
Yeah. It just worked out that way.
Yeah.
And we weren't even going to do that episode. So
right.
So what are we talking about this week, Joseph?
Well, we got a full plate. We're going to talk a little bit about the Rebel Moon director's cuts, which are coming up. We're talking about the latest episode of The Acolyte, the new Star Wars show.
Yeah.
We're talking about Hunter Biden's conviction on a gun charge.
Uh-oh.
We're talking about Merrick Garland being held in contempt of Congress.
Oh no.
Yeah. We're going to talk about Sean Hannity thinking maybe Trump won't debate after all.
Yeah, what a shock. Can't believe it.
Right?
And then go ahead.
He heard that CNN was not going to have any questions about sharks.
Batteries.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about, speaking of, we're gonna talk about Trump's speech in which he spoke about sharks and batteries. We're talking about a recording. There's a secret recording of Samuel Alito and his super insane trash can of a wife. And what they said.
Her name Dottie Alito?
It's Martha.
Mary? Martha Alito?
It's like Martha and something like that. Martha Ray. No, it's not Martha Ray. It's Martha Ann Alito, I think.
Okay, we'll figure that out when we get there.
Yep. And then we're going to talk about what the Democrats are starting to make plans as to what they might do if Trump wins.
I have an idea. Make sure Trump doesn't win.
Exactly. I would spend zero amount of time on that.
Well, I mean, they could do both at the same time, but they should focus more on making sure he doesn't win.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Fetterman saying that progressives left him. Apparently he's gotten a little more conservative since that traumatic.
I'm still cagey about that one. I don't know what's going on there.
That's a weird one. We're going to talk about a couple laws that Meatball Ron DeSantis tried to get passed that are now blocked. Captain Puddin. He
funny boots.
He's an
inky boots
disaster.
DeSantis.
I saw a poll today where his wife is the wide favorite for the next governor of Florida.
Sure, I don't. Gonna sink in the 20 years. Most of Florida will be in the water. So
we're going to talk about
for the thing that sinks the state further.
Yeah, the Florida.
Yeah,
it's going to be a disaster.
Well, yeah, I mean, they keep voting for schmuck. So
we're talking about the housing market, and then we're going to wrap it up with.
Wait, hold on. They'll vote for a Democrat as the state is sinking, and then everyone that lives in the state will just blame that Democrat.
Yes,
that fixing anything, and they'd be like, "Dude, we're already underwater." Like,
yeah, that will happen.
Finally, voting for us.
We're going to talk about the housing market, and then we're going to wrap it up by talking about a short clip we both saw on Twitter from an Oregon rodeo that was pretty remarkable. And then we're going to talk about Elon Musk's decision. He just unilaterally decided today that he's going to hide lights so you can like whatever you want and no one will never know.
Did you see that girl that's trying to be like a new like right-wing chud or something? And she was saying all kinds of racist shit on like TikTok and
then she got fired from her job. Is that the one?
I think so. Yeah. She's like talking about all these nerds or something, and I don't know. She said some racist shit. She was saying the N-word a
Yes.
bunch of times.
Yeah. Yeah. People
Yeah,
so
go
often
ahead.
confuse freedom of speech with freedom from consequences. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's always seems to be the oh shit, I can like my own stuff now on Twitter. No one will know.
oh, that's a unique feature. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that later.
All right.
Right? You have that in there, right? The Elon hiding likes.
Yeah, that's the last item is hiding likes.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah, I don't know. I tweeted about it, that girl, and I just said, what did I write? New piece of shit just dropped.
Yeah.
It says, without any remorse, Gaddis later posted, thanks, Black community, for helping me to launch my new career in conservative media. You all played your role really well, like the puppets you are.
Yeah.
Trad wife TikToker axed from job after casually saying N-word. Hey, she's a trad wife, then she should be happy she was fired because
Yeah,
one,
what'd she get
what's she
fired
doing?
from?
Yeah, what's she doing with a job? She's supposed to be a trad wife.
Right. Yeah, I
The
hadn't even
fuck? You
thought
can't
about
be.
that.
Yeah, get it back, dude. That old trad wife thing's ridiculous. There's like a whole like,
Yeah.
it's super creepy.
There
It's
was
up there
a
with like raw milk.
yeah, there's a big article in the Washington Post, I'd say like 2 months ago, from one of the founders of the trad wife movement. Like, obviously, it's not like an organized
I
movement,
mean, this is
but
some anti-feminism shit. I've been hearing about this for years
well,
and everything.
she was real upset with what it had become. Like, she was this is not how she thought it would pan out.
Yeah.
She felt the movement had been co-opted by bad actors, which is probably true, but like,
Like Ben Shapiro's sister.
it's hard to imagine, like,
Shapiro or whatever.
yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's weird, like, because I know a lot of like people, like when I was younger, mostly, that were like into the 50s like culture, and they wanted to, like, dress like kind of in a 50s aesthetic and whatever, and like, I don't know, I mean, I guess that's like a cosplaying track. I don't know what it was,
He's
but
like
anyway, it was
husbands usually are shitbags.
yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, all right. So we were going to start by talking about you had been, if I remember right, you had been drinking a lot of raw milk lately, and you wanted to
I
talk about
am
this.
swimming in it right now, actually. I grew a couple of worms
Right,
in my brain.
right,
Telling that Robert F. Kennedy's got some really good ideas. That's what the worms in my brain tell me now.
right,
I,
right.
I
Yeah.
let me hold on. He's coming in.
Oh.
Wow. Just want to say, I want everyone to grab a nice, frothy, room temperature cup of raw milk.
Yeah, yeah. I don't that
Nothing says
RFK.
freedom like a cup of 95-degree raw milk.
Yeah, yeah. I would
What is the
say
deal? 95 degrees raw milk would be like not hot enough to boil, but hot enough for things to grow more, right?
everything could live in it. Like, if it's near your body temperature, that's the
96,
dangerous.
like 97, 98 degrees. You're
Yeah, the last
right?
thing you want is like room,
Brackish
room.
water,
Yeah,
brackish
exactly.
milk, brackish milk. Ew.
It's like a perfect environment for like awful stuff to live and to stay alive until it gets in you.
But I see
Um,
these like TikTok like cook people, like these cooks that like the what's that guy's name? That chef that makes
yeah,
reactions. Anytime you watch these videos, these people always are like, all right, throw all this raw meat and all this stuff in there in this pan and just throw it in your oven for 250 minutes, on 250 for just 30 minutes. And I'm like,
mm,
250?
right.
30 minutes? Nothing's getting cooked.
No, you might as well just leave it in your car in a parking lot.
Yeah, exactly. It would probably cook better. I'm like 250. You
Yeah,
can't even like toast bread with 250 for 30 minutes. It's
fuck
like,
that.
who are
I
these
think
psychopaths? How are they alive?
this RFK stuff worries me though, because he's polling at like 10%. If I
Again,
know,
though, I really believe that he steals from Trump
yeah,
And the media is trying to claim the media wants to give Trump as much of an advantage as possible, and constantly say that RFK is stealing from Biden. That just doesn't make any sense. I mean, again, he's to the right of Biden.
Yeah. Well, I know if I were running Biden's campaign, I'd still attack RFK and I would shoot an ad. I know one of them's passed away, but Kevin Bacon's still alive. And you could have a great ad in which they talk about the dangers of worms, having been in Tremors. And they could just say,
what a brilliant ad campaign.
Yeah,
That's the reason why you, you do this for a living,
exactly.
Yeah, a movie that people constantly are thinking of, Tremors.
That's a monster hit.
It's a monster about a monster, but I don't know if it's a monster hit.
Yeah.
Because it's got a huge franchise of
there's like 4 of them
straight to DVD movies, and then like it went from being like straight to tape, straight to DVD. I think 2 might have been in the theater. I don't know. That one didn't have Kevin Bacon. But Michael Gross stuck around for the entire.
He was great. The dad from Family Ties.
Yeah. He's like the opposite of the dad in Family Ties in that.
Yeah, isn't he like a right winger kind of gun nut in?
I don't know if he's a right winger. I don't know. I never asked him about his politics, but he is a gun nut. Yeah. He's supposed to be a gun nut in the movie. An expert tremor killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the right's like really. It seems like raw milk is turning into the new ivermectin, and also what's again oxychloroquine. What the fuck's that?
Yeah, it was like chloramectin or something. Chlorhydroclone. They had like a couple different like veterinarian drugs and like weird anti-malarial agents.
Hydroxychloroquine was the first one that was being pushed. Ingesting bleach was another one, and then it turned to ivermectin. And what's insane about it, though, is like ivermectin is a dewormer.
Yeah.
And now they're like, fuck it. We don't want to get rid of the worms. We want more worms.
More worms.
So let's drink some raw milk.
Yeah.
I think what they do, like, this is how, like, it's like a chaser. It's like, okay, you're going to have, listen, this is what you do. You get down a gallon of raw milk. And then you're gonna do a tube of ivermectin as a chaser. Dude, that's gotta be wonder. That's gotta be like you drink that raw milk and then you do a tube of ivermectin. Your body's just gotta be like, that's gotta be like, I don't know if that's like a high or like the amount of the battle that's going inside your body.
I don't know, man. I just the whole notion of raw milk. It sounds so unnecessary too.
It's really stupid.
You can drink like if you want to like push the edge in dairy like adventures, just drink like half and half or something. Like get a drink half and half or something. I mean, there's like other milk products you can use that are safe for you. Yeah, we're gonna like just whipped cream, half and half.
Drink like a pint of heavy cream.
Just put a couple sticks of butter in a blender and get that reduced. I mean, like, there's a lot of you can
drink goat milk. Go nuts, man.
Yeah. But like the idea of raw milk, like, I don't. Does it taste that good?
You know what? I think it's just obnoxious. It's just these people are just dicks. It's like you ain't gonna tell me what to do, brother.
I can't even imagine what it tastes. In my head, it tastes like a McDonald's vanilla milkshake that's like.
I heard it tastes so good that'll make you want to do a January 6th. Like, that's how these people act. It's so fucking weird. We talked about this last week. I'm telling you, to this day, it is the most bizarre thing. We're not talking about marijuana here. We're not talking about alcohol. We're not talking about guns. We're not talking about some kind of vice. We're talking about fucking milk, and you're an adult. Adults don't.
It's not even like I get like I make my own bread because I don't want all the preservatives and stuff like that. But raw milk, the only thing in raw milk. And so you
can tell people you make your own bread. That is 90% of the the whole like the bread, the results when you make your own bread. When you have a conversation, you can say, "Well, I make my own bread." That's like 90% of the benefit. Like, I don't even eat that shit.
No, I
throw in the trash.
But like. if like regular bread has a bunch of stuff that's not
I'm
great
fucking with
for you in it. Yeah. But like raw milk and pasteurized milk, the only thing in store-bought milk that's not in raw milk is like an absence of microbes. I mean, it's just pasteurized. It's not like they put weird
Supposedly it
things in
tastes
there.
better.
Just buy organic milk or something. I mean,
Yeah,
like, yeah, I'm a
this
weirdo.
is like I said, this has to be. This is flat Earth shit. This is like anti-fluoride.
Yeah.
I gotta do an update to my. Years ago, I made a drawing. It was a series of Bobby Hill drawings, and it was the
Oh, I remember that. That was good.
Bobby Hill conspiracy chart or whatever. I forgot.
Yeah, that was
Great.
great.
I need to swap out one for raw milk Bobby.
Yeah.
I don't even know what raw milk Bobby would be.
He just put a
But
giant udder on his head.
he got udders coming out of his fucking forehead.
Yeah. Like instead of the
This,
dome of his head, he's got
an
like these.
udder, him
Yeah.
sucking on an udder.
Yeah, that'd work.
Or no, he should drink it. There's like a jug and it says raw milk, and then there's like worms coming out of his head.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know,
those work.
something. Yeah, I think I need to make an update to the raw milk thing is just killing me. I think it's like the anti-vaxxer stuff. I get that. I get why some people would be hesitant to get a vaccine. I get it. I don't agree. I think
yeah, right. Yeah.
The fluoride thing's a whole nother level because that's like crazy. But I think raw milk is like on another level.
The other thing is, I see a lot of people like posting about it, like, you can't tell me not to drink. Raw milk is legal in all 50 states. You can buy it anywhere you want. I mean, you may have to go to a special store or whatever, but nowhere is anyone
Crazy
trying to
store.
take away your by the Spirit of Halloween store.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not
That's the
illegal
scariest
anywhere.
man.
If you want raw milk, you can wake up and go find it. It's available near you for purchase at a store. There's no one preventing
Find a
you
cow.
from drinking. Right. Yeah. You can, yeah. Anyway. All right. Raw milk.
I just think it's funny. Again, and that anyone would want to drink something that says raw before it just sounds even funnier too. Like these are the same people who eat like raw meat or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So the first thing on our real list was the great news that Netflix has heard the pleas of millions, and they've decided to take the first two Rebel Moon movies and turn them into, I don't know, two separate like 3-hour films. Is that no? They're making the first one, Rebel Moon, into two separate films. Right? So I think they're expanding episode 1 into like 6 hours.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the names. Let me see. They have like different names now too.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. Like they're not like the first one was called like Rebel Moon. And the second one was like the Scargiver or something.
Yes, the first one was called
Rebel Spook.
Was it called Rebel Moon? It was. I
It
thought
was
it was
called Rebel
like,
Moon. They're both called Rebel Moon. But...
yeah, but it had a subtitle. Jeez,
Yeah,
this is such a fucked up thing. All right, so there was Rebel Moon, A Child of Fire was the first one.
Okay.
And the second one was The Scargiver. But now they're taking Rebel Moon, A Child of Fire, and turning it into Rebel Moon Chapter 1, Chalice of Blood. And then so fucked up. It's going to be R-rated, director's cut, Rebel Moon Chapter 1, Chalice of Blood.
What's the second one?
So I can't tell if there's going to be, if Chapter 2 is the second. That's the mystery. Is Chapter 2 going to be part 2 of the first movie, or is it going to be like,
Well,
why don't
yeah,
they
wait,
get
is it
these?
like they're splitting the first one in two, the director's cut?
Yeah,
Is that what's going on?
I think so. Chapter 1, Chalice of Blood, and Chapter 2, Curse of Forgiveness, are a remake of the first movie.
Oh God, these movies
All
suck
right.
ass.
I'm on the Reddit. Here's the first 2 comments. The headline: Rebel Moon, the director's cut, Chapter 1, Chalice of Blood, and Chapter 2, Curse of Forgiveness, releasing on August 2nd. Comment number 1: yes, 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 fire emoji. Comment number
Yeah,
2:
whatever.
finally. Comment number 3: oh shit, let's go.
Finally, what? Like,
Comment number 4: the real Rebel Moon is coming. And then there's a bunch of variations of like, hell yeah, after that.
yeah, those are some good bots.
Yeah, well, no, it is in the Zack Snyder subreddit. So I think it's
I can't believe people are still excited for those movies. Those movies sucked ass. They were like boring. They were just boring.
yeah. I I
That
like
last
I
one was terrible.
yeah. Well, like I said to you, and I mean, you've said this before previously. There are moments of great visuals, like a still, like he makes great teasers or trailers.
Yeah, he makes this stuff could be made into a good trailer. Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, look,
honestly,
freaking whatchamacallit had an amazing first trailer. Uh, Sucker Punch. That
oh
first trailer
yeah,
was incredible.
yes,
Everything
yeah,
after that was like cock-a-doodle poop.
yeah. Um, but yeah, he's God, Zack Snyder's.
It's just overdone. I am this like I don't know. It's so weird. It's like I don't even talk about this guy too much because I don't even like his fucking movies. It's like freaking
Yeah.
ridiculous. But like
Well,
again, it would when we talk about this guy, if it wasn't like just beefed up so much by so many weirdos, it's like he's like the raw milk of fucking like directors or something, you
well,
know?
he does a lot of work in genres that we like. I mean, like it's hard not to talk about him because like if he does Justice League, you're going to talk about it. I mean, like
Yeah, I mean, it's just aggravating when like the biggest argument at the time for like how great his superhero movies were, and this was around the time when like Infinity War and Endgame were coming out, and I'm like, you
yeah,
fucking kidding me?
yeah,
Like, get the fuck out of here! Like, I mean, you don't have to like Marvel movies. Don't fucking tell me these movies are friggin' better than the Marvel movies.
right,
That's just insane. That's like no, that's not how it works. That's like you don't have to like Marvel movies, but you can't tell me that like I mean, listen, you can like whatever shit you want.
yeah,
You don't
yeah, of
fucking
course,
scold me for telling me that like because I don't think Batman versus Superman is a good movie in
yeah,
any way whatsoever. And that had a director's cut too.
yeah, yeah. I honestly did not mind Justice League at all. I thought that was pretty fun.
The director's
Um,
cut or the original?
I saw both, and I didn't mind either. I mean, I thought the director's cut, is that the one he did in black and white?
It's interesting, but it's not good.
Yeah, I
The
didn't mind
director's
it.
cut that would be better if it had a director's cut.
Mm, yeah.
Like I'm watching,
Um,
I'm like, you could shave off a half hour very easily.
yeah. I think I just like the characters. There's a lot of like most of his stuff.
Well, it
There's a
has a
lot of
good cast. It
scenes.
has a good
Yeah.
cast, and you're familiar with the characters, but man, those movies are not.
Well, I'll tell you, at the end of Justice League, I really wanted to see a second one when they were picking out the Hall of Justice, and you can see, remember the very last scene.
That's the
um
original one, right? That's the Joss Whedon version.
I think so. They're like picking. You basically see how the next movie. It's not a cliffhanger, but it's going to be. Uh, um, it's going to be the Justice Hall of Justice,
Yeah, yeah.
and at that point they had been teasing like Flash from the future. I'm forgetting the specifics. But remember, there was like some cliffhangery
Well,
elements. Like
that was the thing that led into Batman versus Superman.
yeah, okay.
When
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
Flash
yeah.
shows up,
Right.
that's the Zack Snyder cut. That the Snyder cut would have been better if it just ended where it did. If he didn't add that weird dream sequence in the end.
Yeah.
Jared Leto as the Joker. It made no sense at all.
That.
It was like,
Yeah.
what's the point? We're never going to see this movie. Why did you
Right.
even make this?
That was confusing.
That's very confusing.
Yeah.
He's telling Batman, give him a reach around. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching here?
Yeah, it just got real, self-indulgent, I guess is a
Yeah.
kind
Well, he
kind
is just
way.
like he was able to trick WB into giving him like $100 million by using bots and
Yeah,
on trolls.
yeah.
And he was able to grift $100 million out of WB to make that movie. And I don't know, but yeah, the Rebel Moon thing. I mean, I just can't. I have no like. It doesn't even.
Yeah.
Nothing about the movie interests me to make me want to watch a director's cut. Like I
No.
would watch a director's cut of. Let's see. I'm think of any of his movies. I mean, I saw the director's cut of Watchmen. That just
Okay.
had more content from the original book comic in there, so of course I didn't mind that.
Yep.
Um, I don't know if he never made one for Sucker Punch because that movie was a bomb.
No, he never made one. I would definitely watch Dawn of the Dead director's
Yeah,
cut. You
yeah.
know, I
I
thought
think
that'd be
they made
good.
a gorier cut, I think, for DVD or something.
I would, yeah.
I'm just trying. I mean, the thing is, like this Rebel Moon, these movies suck. And
Yeah.
I think again, the reason why they suck even more too is because we're being told that like the new Star Wars movies suck and they're woke. All the new Star Wars products are crap.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder's gonna save sci-fi, and then we see these movies and they're just like
You're awful.
they're just not good. Like it's not even that they're awful. They're nothing.
Well,
That's the
yeah.
thing. Like, you know,
They just
I'm
remind me
not
a
gonna
lot of
hate
the
it.
movies. They remind me of like an updated Battle Beyond the Stars.
I mean, they're just like, yeah, it's just like a crappy. It just wasn't interesting. It was like, okay, I'm gonna rip off Star Wars, the cantina scene, but it's gonna take place in like an old West saloon. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have I have people on a farm, but it's
Right.
literally just gonna look like like a 1930s farm. Like, is Dorothy gonna show up? What the fuck,
Yeah.
man? Like, have
The
some like escapism. Like, at least make the freaking farm like futuristic or some shit. I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah. No,
It's
it's
boring.
yeah.
It's boring.
Um yeah. Well, I am
I will
probably
say
not.
most of the comments I saw on Twitter were people who were like, "No one cares."
Yeah, I saw a lot of like no thanks. No,
And
no
let me
one
tell
asked
you,
for this.
like Rebel Moon 1 had a lot of promotion by Netflix, and when Rebel Moon 2 came out, there was zero promotion.
Yeah.
They must have made a deal with him a while ago, and that's the only reason why we're getting these director's cuts. Probably part of the whole package that he
Yeah.
was able to get. Because I feel like, especially after that second one, they wouldn't put the money into. I feel like the money
No.
was already. I feel like the money was already spent.
Yeah, it was baked into the cake.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was part of it. It was always part of the plan. It's not like, oh, this movie's such a colossal hit. We need to get the director's cut out. It was like it was always going to be a director's cut.
Yeah. No, I agree.
All I have to
Uh
say is Rebel Moon more like Rebel.
yeah, yeah. I don't honestly I'm probably not even gonna watch the
Would you
director's
watch Rebel
cuts.
Moon or would you drink raw milk?
I'd watch Rebel Moon. Yeah, I'd probably do. I'm not
It's
drinking
like
raw
a little
milk.
less riskier.
I'm not drinking raw milk.
No.
Yeah, I'll recover from Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
That's
This is the
that's
director's cut. Imagine the director's cut just has scenes with everyone drinking raw milk.
right.
That's the whole plot changes. So like the evil Nazi empire is trying to take
Take
away
away
this
their raw
farm's
milk.
right from drinking raw milk.
The farm produces raw milk. It's all they produce. It's not grain anymore.
They're
It's
like, we
raw
just
milk.
want to listen. We just want to pasteurize it. And they're like, this is our freedom.
Right. Yeah. Mel
I'm gonna have to
Gibson.
form a band of rebels from across the galaxy to help us fight the evil empire, so we can drink raw
Raw
milk.
milk. Ugh.
Okay. Well, speaking of raw milk, episode 3 of the Acolyte. What do you think of
Yeah.
this? What did you think?
I felt bad. I did not
Well,
like
the
it.
Acco woke, right, guys?
No, I had heard from a online and I'd read articles. Everyone was saying well, episode 3 is where everything goes to hell and it gets too woke and it's got an
Yeah,
agenda and
literally.
everything. And right. And I watched it. And I honestly I don't understand that criticism of it. It didn't seem any more or less woke than any story I've seen.
I'm joking.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I'm just saying like
If, if a
those
group
are
of women are in charge and as a match, what do they call it, matriarchy?
A matriarchy, yeah.
then there will be thousands of YouTube videos that will be
Well,
made.
I get why certain sensitive thin-skinned people are scared of this, because they see this as a reworking of the narrative so that the Jedi are bad and that these Wiccan type commune of strong women are good, and they call it the thread, not the force, and that's very threatening to some people. But
These group of communist, Wiccan, lesbian, alien, bitch, Jedi, witches
well,
trying to take away our white male Jedi,
it was like, and I could
all
see them saying
American blue blood.
that it's kind of like anti-colonial, but like Star Wars has always been that. Star Wars has always said that the Jedi fell because they were filled with pride and didn't see the threat that was building underneath them. And the Jedi, I mean, it's a Greek tragedy in the sense that they had hubris. They had that fatal pride, and that's what was their
And they were
undoing.
only like 3 episodes in. Okay.
Oh
So
yeah,
I asked you what it was, but let's just say. So in the third episode of The Acolyte, it is a flashback episode. So we got 2 episodes in the premiere, and it was
yep.
like the introduction of May and what's the other
Osha,
sisters?
Osha, I
Osha.
think.
Osha and May. You would think they're twins. One of them be called May, the other one would be called Nay.
Yeah,
Or Osha and Nosha.
Osha just reminds me of the all the OSHA training I had to go through when I worked in hospitals and stuff like that. Like, I think it's the Office of Safety
Oh, the
and
right
Health.
wing hates OSHA.
They do it.
Yeah, they're
Probably
gonna hate OSHA even more.
subconsciously triggered them. Like,
Yeah, so this takes place 16 years in the past when they're kids, and you find out they live like in this weird commune on this other planet,
yep,
and they're not. It's this commune of like it's all women and they're witches, I guess, but I don't think it's like the witches from Ahsoka.
no,
It's a different sect. What I liked about I don't like the episode. I thought it was boring. I
it
think
was
my
boring.
biggest issue with the episode was that the this episode is in the wrong part of the series. This should have been
Yeah,
like episode 6. If you have
yeah,
8 episodes, what you do is you build up the characters, you build up the conflict, and then you have like a mid-season type break, like at the episode 4, something big happens, or episode 5, something huge happens in the
right.
end. And then you make us wait an extra week because now it's flashback time. And the flashbacks make more sense because you see how everything from those episodes come together in the
Yeah,
flashback, and then it built, and then in the flashback, you reveal some things that were not revealed in the show. And then you go, and now when the
yeah,
flashback ends, you can either like in the end of the episode, you can go to current day or whatever, and the hero learns this is how I defeat this person, and the
right.
audience and the hero both learn at the same time from the flashback, and then you got your last 2 episodes.
Yeah, it works
No,
better. It works better after a mid-season climax and before the final climax.
and I didn't
It's
make this shit. This is just a standard. I've seen this in many shows.
how
I mean,
stories work.
I'm not a genius. I'm not a showrunner. I'm just saying this is how normal shows are usually paced. Now, who knows? We might get more flashbacks.
I hope
I don't
not.
know. But to have introduce and then like set up like, oh, May's gonna go after the Wookiee Jedi. That's how the
Yeah,
cliffhanger was, and I figured that would be that episode would be that. But no, we get the flashback, and I just don't feel like the flashback was earned yet.
yeah.
That's what I
It
mean. Like you need to build up a bunch of stuff, get to the point. It's kind of boring.
and it didn't even, honestly, and let me back up. I didn't like the episode. I feel bad about not liking the episode because,
Not to feel bad. You can,
well, the way I don't like it isn't the same way as a lot of people aren't liking
oh
it.
yeah, I mean the dipshits. I don't like it because it's women. I was obviously joking about being
Yeah,
woke,
I just
and
thought it was like, it was boring. The flashback, you're right, comes at a odd time. Like, I want the narrative to move
you either
forward.
start in the past
Yeah,
and you do that episode in the past, and then the end of the episode is May like looking up and she's like this evil Jedi, and then she heads into that canteen or whatever where she goes to face off against Carrie Ann Moss's character, and that's how you end the first episode. If you're going to do a flashback early in the series, you start in the past, and then May, and you don't even know if that's May. It could be Osha also. We don't know because we're left to believe that May's dead. And like, you know what I mean? You have the whole episode there, and then the last 2 minutes or last minute is that scene in the beginning where May shows up walking through the arches, going into the town to fight the Carrie Ann Moss Jedi. You literally just, like, the camera pans to her eyes, there's the mask on face, and then she walks under the arches, and then the credits. And that's how I would set up that first episode. If you're going to do the past. Or you do the past later on in the series. I just thought this was very odd pacing.
Plus, like, what did we learn in this episode that we couldn't have simply inferred? You know what I mean? Like, what like, everything we learned in this episode, I kind of more or less assumed, you know?
Well, I mean, like, I don't believe that May's the cause for all the death. There's no way. She, like, lit up a Jedi training manual, a brochure.
Yeah.
Looked like she was trying to kill her sister, which was kind of stupid. I don't know. It was just bad acting on that one little girl's part. That actress sucks.
Right.
You suck, kid. Let's go ruin that kid's life like Jake Lloyd.
Oh, jeez. Oh.
I'm kidding. Please do not do that. And then, like, there's like an explosion, and they're like their generator or something. I don't know. And then you see, like, all the women are just dead in a pile. All these like powerful witches. Dude, that scene though, and they're all like, "We all have power, and our power is one." I was like, "Am I watching fucking Hocus Pocus?"
Yeah.
I was like waiting for that. You know when they bust out into? You ever seen Hocus Pocus?
Yeah, with Bette Midler and
yeah, they bust out into a song, and they're like. And then everybody's dancing, and they can't stop dancing.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I liked about the episode, the ideas of the episode, is that it would make sense. You have this big galaxy, and you have the Force. Why is the Force, like, okay, you could say the Sith are bad and the Jedi are good or whatever like that. But why can't there be, like, a different sect that has nothing to do, and not this great Jedi bullshit or middle of the road Jedi.
Right.
They're not Jedis. They still tap into the Force, but they have their own culture and religion.
Yeah.
Why does it, like, if the Force is this thing, and that makes, like, total sense. If we had something in our world, just like we have religions, if we had something, there would be different groups from different countries around the world, and they would have a different belief of how they use the Force or whatever the power is.
Exactly.
It would not be just locked into this one Jedi thing. And I think that's what's interesting about this is that, like, again, we don't know if they're evil, the witches. I think they just bring up, I mean, it sounds like Sith trickery when you say, what? Is a Jedi the only ones allowed to use power? Like, there's truth to that, but that's also sounds like, you know, a kind of talking point that would be used by shitty people too. But I feel like they just had their own faith, their own culture, and they used the Force a different way from the Jedi. And we don't know much about them. We weren't told, like, are they raiding villages? Are they like for power? Like, the thing I always found funny about the Sith, about Darth Sidious, was like, okay, I'm gonna be this, like, Sith Lord, but I'm also gonna be the emperor of this, like, very clinical empire that has all these different layers of bureaucracy. Like, that doesn't seem very Sith-like.
No, it seems like a lot of work.
Like, it seems like a lot. So it's, like, interesting. Like, I'm a Sith Lord, but I'm also a little bit of an institutionalist.
Right. Right.
I may be an evil Sith Lord, but I do like having different levels of power to, you know.
Like a corporate attorney who also rides a Harley on the weekends.
Yeah. I'm a little bit of a thrill seeker.
Yeah.
So, he rides a quad, you know. He's like, really lets loose.
Right.
I like to practice Sith magic on the side, you know. It's like it's my little escape.
Well, I'm still excited about the show. I really liked the first 2 episodes. I really did not like this
I see some
episode.
people shitting on it. My favorite thing though that people are shitting on, and this one's just super dumb, is when May goes out. No, OSHA goes out onto the ship to fix it, and there's a fire, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Huh, there's no fire in space."
Right. I mean,
And I'm like, "Have you watched Star Wars?
yeah. Well, wasn't it?
There's
I thought it was like
fire in like every movie."
it was like a vision or whatever. Like it wasn't even supposed to
No,
be.
she's on the ship. She remember she was like a mechanic or whatever, and there was like a little fire on the side of the ship, and she was fixing it. People were complaining like there wouldn't be a
Oh
fire
yeah,
on the
yeah.
ship.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, this is like the same people who complained about like the bombs
Right.
dropping in
In Rogue
space.
One.
And
Oh
no,
no,
that's Last Jedi.
yeah.
The bombers come, the bombs drop. They're like, that's not how it would work. And I'm like, who fucking cares?
Yeah. Come on.
But I mean, there's so many scenes in Star Wars where there's fires in space and explosions.
Yeah.
And someone even pointed out and said the reason why we have that, where like you see TIE fighters exploding or
Mhm.
ships exploding, is because Lucas wanted them to look like a World War II dogfight.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wasn't sitting there going like, can we have fire? Is fire allowed? It doesn't happen in space. I don't know, George.
Bring me a crack team of astrophysicists. Bring me.
And they're like, no, George, it wouldn't. And he's like, yeah, but you know what? I'm making a fucking movie and people
Yeah.
love fire.
Right.
Kind of goes
Yeah.
back to the caveman times, you know. We like the little speckles and light and fire, you know, the flame colors. It's
Yeah.
I just think
Yeah.
that was like the dumbest complaint. I'm like, there's scenes that are just like it's so stupid. I hate those things when people nitpick shit like that. Like I don't
Yeah,
mind, like, you wanna
especially in
criticize the
like a
cat.
Star Wars, you know, I mean, like
What?
if it's especially in like a Star Wars type of thing. I mean, like it's
Again, it's
clearly
like, wait, you mean the world, the universe that has like planets that are one ecosystem?
yeah,
Like, you can't have a planet that's just all Hoth. That doesn't make any sense. I mean,
right.
they rotate,
A
right?
swamp planet, a
Yeah.
snow planet.
I can believe a desert planet, actually. That is possible.
Yeah,
But
that
the
makes
desert
more
planets
sense.
usually would be like a dead planet, you know?
Yeah,
Uh yeah, Swamp Planet might be a little bit ridiculous. I think the
yeah,
Hoth one might be a little, yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. So if you're okay with those things, then I guess we could be okay with a little bit of fire on a ship
Right.
in outer space. It's
Or like a laser that would arbitrarily stop and form a sword, you know, like instead of just continuing on or
That's true. That's probably what would happen, right? It wouldn't just be like, okay, I'm good at 3 feet.
yeah, that's not how light works or laser or whatever.
Just keep going.
Just like what? I'm sure they have some in-world explanation as to why the laser just stops at some point, but all those things are like kind of crazy. Like laser beams, they don't segment themselves into like bullet-like projectile. I mean, it's a just pure uninterrupted laser, you know.
My
So
favorite, I'm surprised I haven't really seen this nitpick, but I've been trying to avoid nitpicks because I just don't
yeah,
want to
yeah,
hear people's like some of the
it's
complaints other people
exhausting.
have. Yeah, I don't really care. But I'm surprised no one hasn't brought up how the Wookiee Jedi is also like the mechanic, like Chewbacca is. He's just sitting there working on the bike or whatever.
Yeah.
I like when was it May that talks to the Wookiee Jedi? It's like she talks to no,
Yeah.
OSHA talks to the Wookiee Jedi. OSHA does, and that's when she decides to become a Jedi. It's like, oh yeah, listen to Master Waka Waka over there, and he went. I was like,
He brought up some compelling counterpoints to my original arguments.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what the fuck he said, but made me feel good. I liked. I thought the de-aging looked pretty decent. I
Oh
forgot
yeah.
the Padawan. Everyone was shitting on how he looked older with the beard. The
Okay,
Padawan,
yeah.
I didn't realize is he's the prince, the king, the young king in Game of Thrones that jumps out the window. The
Oh. Yeah. At the Eye, was that called the Eye? Was that
It's after what's her name? Not Sansa? No, no, not the Starks. What was the evil family in not they were
the
the
Lannisters
the
or the
Lannister, the woman who becomes the queen. What's her name? The main Lannister one?
Cersei?
Yeah, her son, her youngest son becomes king after
Oh,
Joffrey.
that's right. Yes. Okay. Yeah. And
Well,
then he
after
just
she
jumps.
has the like the main church or whatever it was where
Yeah.
everybody was at, she blew it
The
up with a
Red
dragon.
Keep or something. Yeah.
Yeah, he just saw it and then he just jumps out of the window, kills himself.
Yeah. I forgot about. I thought you were talking
Yeah, that
about
was such a great scene. That
that
was like
was.
that was so good.
Yeah, that was a legit shocking scene. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when that's I think that actually might be considered the end of Game of Thrones till it starts to get kind of dumb after.
Yeah. Yeah. They. Yeah. Mm.
um that's coming back. Coming back
Yeah.
this week. We'll
Yeah.
have
That'll be real good.
yeah.
I might go back and rewatch the first season because I was slow. It took me a while to come
I
around
don't
to
know if
liking that.
I don't know if I could sit through that. I think I'll be fine with the recap. I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes the shows are exhausting. I can't like
You
sit
don't want
through.
to watch a 40-minute montage of crabs eating people to death.
I did not like I remember not caring for the first episode
Oh,
of the series.
gross.
And then like it was by the time the end of the second one, then I thought the show started to pick up and it was good. And then after that, it was great. It was like a
Yeah.
great show. But the first episode, I just remember being like, "Oh, this is just like we're gonna make this as Game of Thrones as possible."
Yeah, they really amped up a lot of stuff.
It was like a little too ridiculously
Yeah.
gory, and I don't know. But okay, so this episode, I'm trying to think of, there's people complaining and say it looks like a TV show, and I'm like, it should look like a show.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you make it too good, you make it look too good,
Right.
then when you make a fucking movie, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. I
It should not look better than a movie.
I think it looks fine. I don't think
Yeah. I don't know if like the costumes look fine. I don't know. People like shitting on it. I'm like, I thought the costumes on the what were they called? The witches? Do they have like a name?
they do. It was but I had to read it. I don't let's
It's always
see.
like if it's a Star Wars name, it's just like witches and it's spelled with like with a Y
Uh
or something.
oh, I don't know. Maybe I was mistaken that for the planet, which was Brendock. They are a coven of witches on Brendock. Uh, I don't think they
Well,
did mention it.
so you find out that the two twins are like kind of similar to Anakin, where you find out like, okay, there's the one woman who I think comes from like the Darth Maul people. I don't know, she has
Right.
like, similar horns to like Darth Maul. And then the main mother or whatever, the main witch who happens to like the one with the horns is the one that carried the twins.
Yeah.
One she created them, and it's maybe they'll explain this. This is kind of like to me, it's like again having to do the heavy lifting for bad writing from the prequels, where it was like, okay, you introduce Anakin as a kid, and then you introduce his mother, and he has no father, and you're like, okay, how like, and then they just say this dumb line like, oh, he didn't have a father. When like later,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, Qui-Gon's like, where's the father? And she's like, oh, he didn't have a father. And I'm
Oh,
like he wasn't around. He like knocked you up and didn't pay any bills. Like, what do you mean? Like, is this some Jesus shit? Come on, no,
yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then supposedly the rumor is that Palpatine's technically the dad. That Palpatine created Anakin, but that would be so ridiculous. Because like, then why would you have to go through all this rigmarole to get Anakin to
Yeah.
Coruscant? When you just get Anakin on Coruscant, like, well, I gotta make it look like it just happened.
Yeah. The problem with a lot of those
I can't have the kid just show up. Everyone's gonna know, but he's
just
got to do a
makes it
pod
like
race. He's got to be a lot of circumstances that happen.
my problem with it is that like the Anakin was supposed to be like a prophesied one that would bring balance to the force. It almost makes sense, like if you imagine the force being this thing that like the force would generate this being, Anakin, to like bring balance or whatever. That makes sense. But then to hear that like, oh yeah, that also happened like 100 years ago on some planet, like over on Brendock, or whatever. It's like, wait a minute, are there a lot of does
Well, it
this
would
happen a
make
lot?
sense
Like,
then that why the Jedi's would be concerned if they know about this and they're
yeah,
creating life in a very weird, unnatural way. And then
yeah,
obviously through writings or whatever, Palpatine finds out, or Darth Plagueis or whatever the fuck,
sure,
finds out, and so that it makes sense that this I don't think it. I mean, I don't think it's repetitive. I think it makes sense. That part doesn't bother me. I don't think it's like, oh, here we go again with these immaculate children. Like, I
village
mean,
of the damned.
yeah, I don't know. That part didn't bother me as much. I mean, they better fucking explain it though. If you're gonna do it, you better
Yeah,
freaking better have it
commit to
all
it.
laid out and be like, this is how they do it. I move my hands in a circle, then I go back and forth. She's like,
Yeah.
she just looks at the camera and goes, I did a spell and I grew a dick. I had a dick for one night. That's it. And the dick went away.
That's it. I hid my
Just
likes and
one
bam.
night dick.
Oh.
It's so stupid. I mean, like, whatever. I don't know. I was kind of bummed. I watched it and I was like, "Oh, I want to watch. I really want the show to be good.
Yeah.
Like, I like the whole idea. I want like a show that takes place 100 years in the past to be good. I want like a good Jedi show. But after this last episode, man, it just like I said, it didn't look bad. I like the tree. I thought that was kind of cool.
It's fine.
The tree
Yeah.
must seem like seemed kind of important because I remember in the end you saw the tree too. It was like
Yeah. I
uh
wondered if I don't think this is the case, but as I was watching, I was wondering, like, was there ever even a fire? Like, did something cause hallucinations? Did the Jedi cause
I don't
uh
think you're gonna find out the Jedi did not kill
yeah,
the um these witches. I just don't believe that, and I don't believe May did it. I don't think May killed those witches. I think that's crazy. I think it doesn't make any sense. Like this little fire all of a sudden turns to this thing and like it blows up their generator or whatever, and everybody dies. Like it seemed a little ridiculous. I don't know.
yeah.
I think
I
we're
don't
gonna
know.
find out May's not so evil because right now, if she is, she's evil as fuck. It made me think of Miles or Linus. What was his name? The guy from Lost, the bad
Oh,
guy from
Benjamin
Lost.
Linus, yeah.
Yeah, when he's a kid and like the guy with the dark eyelashes, that guy.
Yeah.
He was like the guy who lived like a long time. He worked with like
Yeah.
the Snoke monster or something. I don't know, but like it was part of that like group of others that basically convinces him to kill all the researchers that lived on the island. And there's that scene where you see him young and has the gas mask and everybody's
Right, right,
dead.
right.
It made me think of that scene with May. Like, but I don't think it's that simple. I don't believe that May
Yeah.
killed them. I think we're gonna
I
find that
agree.
out.
It wouldn't be very great storytelling if May were just pure evil.
It just might not be good
Yeah,
storytelling.
it could be.
I
We'll see.
don't know. I want this to be good. I want good
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm gonna keep watching it. We'll see. I mean, like,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
gonna
not
watch
done
each
with it.
episode. Yeah.
I think some of the like I said, I think some of the criticisms are a little ridiculous. Like, I mean, yeah, it's an expensive show. I remember people complaining like they're watching 2 episodes and they're like, "Oh, it doesn't look like it costs 180 million." I'm like, "You're only seeing
Mm,
2 episodes
yeah.
of the show.
Right. Does
Think
it
of
look
that."
like 18% of that? Because
Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks like it could be 20 million
yeah.
of the 30 million or whatever.
Plus, some of it's buying the rights, and I mean, it's a bunch of stuff involved.
I
So.
mean, look at this third episode. They had to create all these new costumes and like,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks like real sets too. It doesn't look like. I think they said that this would have like more.
I did hear that. Yeah.
That this would have actual sets versus like when you find out like most Mandalorians just like a cup. Someone has a
Right.
cup and the
Well,
rest is just
the
green
real
screen.
sets looked so great on Andor. Like anytime they would use a real setting,
Yeah,
it was like very noticeable and it was awesome. So,
but like I said, I think the criticism of looking like a TV show. I'm like, I don't mind it looking like a TV show.
What
Actually,
it
it doesn't
is.
bother me. I mean, people are comparing it to. They're calling it like the CW Star Wars, and I'm like,
Oh no.
come
No, I
on
don't see
now. This
that.
is like so overcritical. This is like the people who are like, the She-Hulk CGI looked like shit. I'm like, listen, I'll say this. Maybe like there were some scenes where she didn't look that great, but
A little wonky at times.
sometimes, but most of it was pretty damn
I
fucking
thought so.
impressive for a
Yeah.
TV show. Like when she's wearing like the sparkly dress and shit, like
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck these people are smoking. I'm like, maybe my eyes are going, but or something, because I think there's a lot of this stuff looks great. I don't know what the I
Yeah.
think
I
people are
mean,
just fucking
maybe if
I
they
think
would
people are fucking spoiled. I'm like,
well, even
TV
so,
should
what are
not
they
look as
comparing it to? What
yeah,
are they just give me show me what you're
like
comparing this
first
to.
season of Next Generation. Get the fuck out of
Yeah.
here. You know what I
Come
mean?
on.
Like
Yeah.
these shows still look good. I don't know what the I think there's just a bias. I think people they don't have that's not media literacy, but they clearly can't point out like that like a movie should be better than a show.
Right.
Like obviously Game of Thrones definitely takes it up a notch and stuff like that. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We're only 3 episodes in. I know,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm not crazy about the direction so far. With the third episode, hopefully,
Right.
I hope by the end of the next episode we actually meet the bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too.
I don't want this to be like last 2 episode bullshit. I
No,
want them.
because we saw the what we assume is the Sith at the end of the first episode, and we haven't seen him since.
Yeah.
And that's a real compelling character.
And
So
next week is the halfway point because you got the 4th episode of those 8
jeez,
episodes.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right.
All right. Well, what do you give this episode, Joseph? How many?
Uh how many quarts of raw milk?
Yeah,
I if there are 4 quarts of raw milk and a gallon of raw milk, I give this I'd say two. I'd say
I'd say
two out of
2
four
is fair.
stars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2. It was like whatever, but there's
Half a
some
gallon
like,
of raw milk.
couple interesting things in there.
Yeah.
Like I said, I
Plus it
like the
looked
idea of the witches. I like the idea that there would be different groups that would,
yep.
especially 100 years before the Empire, like the usage of the Force would be probably more accepted widely and used in different
Yes.
ways by different people. And it almost makes sense that like the Jedi's would want to kind of control it because the whole main goal in the end is to prevent the Sith from happening again.
Right. Yeah.
But the joke is they end up becoming like the
Yes.
Sith in some
Yeah.
way. So
Yeah. No, I'd say 2 out of 4, 5 out of 10, whatever, however you want to cut it. It's yeah, good parts, not a great episode.
There's this great TikTok. I don't know if I shared it with you. This guy's like, it's one of those again where the guy's playing 2 parts, and then
Yeah.
one's like a parent who has a kid and a Jedi
Yeah.
showing up saying like, "I'm going to take your kid now."
Oh, you did show me.
Yeah, this one's great. He's like, yeah, my kid has these abilities. Oh, good. We're gonna bring him back to person, and we're gonna train him. Oh, good. Can I see him again? No,
No,
you'll never see him again. And what if I don't go along with this? Well, if not trained, the powers will probably fade, and he'll just be like a regular kid. And they're like, you know what? I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
The Jedi's like, no, we'll take the now. Real quick before we wrap this up, move on
Yeah.
to real world.
Yeah.
I don't think OSHA has any powers. I think she does not have the Force. I think that there's a weird scene where Soul is doing the test
Yeah.
and she's not getting anything right, but at the same time she was told to lie, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I don't think she has any. Like even when they showed her like when she was on the ship escaping and it looked like she was trying to use the Force to grab something.
yeah, she couldn't do it.
Her sister definitely has the abilities, but I think it's like one of those situations where she does not have any powers.
That could be. The only thing that makes me hesitate is that she did train at the Jedi Academy, and I have to think they at least, if not have an entrance requirement, have like she trained there for a little
Yeah,
while.
true. Yoda would be like, "What the fuck you wasting my
Right.
time with this little shit? Time waste."
Exactly.
Not.
Yeah. Fucks give, none I about this girl.
You better show up.
Yeah, I
You
hope
gotta be
so.
in this.
Yeah, it doesn't add
Fucks
up
give,
to
I do not.
I would say that she has limited powers and is not really able to harness them or anything. But there's something there. Otherwise, she wouldn't have lasted a minute there. So
True. I mean, well, I guess hopefully we find all that out. But
yeah.
again, leaving at that, introducing all these characters and then having to pause and introduce a whole bunch of other characters in the third episode, not a
Weird,
good idea.
weird
Bad
decision.
pacing. This is like almost as bad as Book of Boba Fett with having your last two episodes before the finale be Mandalorian episodes.
Yeah.
That was awful. Like that. I mean, the episodes were great, but for the show as a whole, terrible idea.
Didn't make sense.
Awful.
Yeah, they were great episodes, but not for that show.
Yeah. I mean, even like I know I didn't mind the episode, but a lot of people felt that way. That episode of Mandalorian that took place on Coruscant, and it was about the doctor.
Oh yeah, I liked that, but that was
a lot of people were angry about that episode. I thought it was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it, but
I liked it a lot. But like, it was very confusing, and it's like when you have a character like the Mandalorian or whatever, it's like Poochie. If he's not on screen, you're thinking, where is he? What is he doing?
Where's Poochie? Have a character say, "Where's Poochie?"
Yeah.
Yes.
So
have a character ask where Poochie is constantly.
Yeah.
Poochie is not. Baby Yoda is not on screen.
Exactly.
What
right.
He's saying, "Where's Baby Yoda?
Where is he? What is he doing? Yeah. Why don't we stop? Why don't we pop in on him? See what's going on." So, but yeah, I did enjoy that episode, but I did find myself saying like, "Geez, I hope there's a little bit of Mandalorian in this." So, anyway,
it might have been a little.
I don't recall the episode real well, but I do recall it being more of. I do recall being kind of confused by it initially, even though I liked what I was seeing.
I liked one episode that I remember people hated on third season was the one with Jack Black and Lizzo. That was one of my favorite episodes with Christopher Lloyd as the bad guy who was
was real good.
Who was a Count Dooku loyalist. That was amazing.
Yeah, well, I mean, like Star Wars is supposed to be a little fun.
That was such a good episode. I was like, this is what I mean. Like some of these people's complaints. I'm not trying to discount people's complaints. Most of them are fucking dumb.
Yeah, right. Most of them bring shame not only to themselves but to me as hearing them. So
yeah, apologize.
I feel embarrassed for all of us listening to some of those. But yeah, that Jack Black episode was great.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. That was real fun. And like maybe you don't want a steady diet of those, but like
that was the only episode like that season. It was fun. It was
those are such a great gateway. Like if a person likes Jack Black but not Star Wars, or if a person likes, if they like, they just want to see what it's like. That's a great gateway that brings new people into the fandom, and that's a good thing. That's a healthy thing. That's
whatever.
Yeah, whatever. All right. Well, speaking of whatever.
Yeah. Hunter Biden convicted of 34. Oh, wait. No, I'm sorry. 3.
Yeah.
What were they? Something about owning a gun while being on drugs or something?
Yes, he owned a gun for 11 days.
Oh, no.
And they're saying that he lied on his application to get a gun. And this is weird. I was talking to my brother about this. It is a weird situation because, look, if I'm going to be consistent to my beliefs, I think there should be more gun control. If we have background checks or questionnaires or shit like that to restrict access to guns, then I do kind of believe that that's a big deal. Like you shouldn't lie on on gun purchasing documents. However, at the same time, it's very frustrating because this is never prosecuted. The people charging forward the prosecution did it only for political reasons,
What's going to happen to him?
Well, that's the thing, is that it's a federal felony. Most people are saying it's going to be like probation or something, you know. But that was his original plea deal. His original plea deal was to just get probation. And then the Republicans said, no, it's a sweetheart deal. We want blah, blah, blah. And then Hunter Biden walked away from the plea deal, went to trial and lost. I mean, he should have fought to keep the plea deal.
Yeah.
So it is kind of, oh, go ahead. The other weird thing about this to me is that dude got put on trial and convicted like lightning fast.
Yeah.
We're still waiting for 90% of Trump's shit to go to trial, you know?
Oh, I mean, it's a nothing case and everything like that. But again, the whole thing is so stupid. And the whole thing too, it kind of makes no sense from the Republicans' point of view, because like they're supposed to be the ones that are like, everyone go get a gun, everyone should have a gun.
Yeah.
People who like beat their wives should be allowed to have a gun. People with mental illness should be allowed to buy a gun. Like, if you're a gun advocate, you should have been totally against the Trump.
The NRA should have
been like, I don't like Hunter Biden, but this sets a bad precedent for gun owners.
The shall not be infringed crowd gets a little silent on this one.
And again, it's like, okay, so is Donald Trump Jr. going to be investigated? He's like a drug addict, and he has he has tons of guns.
Well, Hunter Biden's mistake was he wrote a book talking about being a drug addict, and I think he like admitted to a lot of this in print. So I don't know. My thought is that he will. Biden already said he won't pardon him, but if I were Biden, I would 100% pull Hunter aside and say, look, just keep your head down, file an appeal, and I'll catch you after the election, one way or the other.
Yeah, he can pardon him even if he loses, right? He can pardon him.
If he gets exactly, if Biden gets reelected, fucking who cares? I'm reelected. Yeah. Oh yeah,
I guess my son.
Right.
Everyone seems to be okay with that. You'll vote for me again.
Right.
You say, look, Donald Trump pardoned fucking Michael Flynn and Steve Bannon and fucking Roger Stone and all
those fuckers.
Joe Pyro.
So I would do that, and if he loses, then I'd definitely pardon him, and I'd make a big deal about it. I would pardon everyone in the country of everything. If Trump wins, I would say, you know what, blanket pardon for everyone except, and then I'd put a bunch of Trump people down. Yeah, it's a big deal, but like honestly, part of me, and I could be real wrong on this, part of me thinks that this is going to be probably good for Biden. It's a sympathetic thing. There's probably a lot of people that have relatives that are drug addicted and have guns, you know.
Yeah.
Like this is a pretty relatable thing, and Biden's pretty decent about it. And
somebody made a joke. I saw lots of jokes like, I will not be voting for Hunter Biden.
Yeah,
I refuse to vote for Hunter Biden for president. And then people were parroting like all the Trump with like Jesus standing behind him.
Yeah, I saw
like Hunter Biden with the cigarette. And again, I'm just gonna say this flat out. All the right wing does is make Hunter Biden look cool. Dude loves to party with hot babes at motels, does a hell of a ton of drugs,
knows
how to party, likes to buy guns. He is living the life that like Joe Rogan, Kid Rock, all these douchebags sell to people. And then they want to go after this guy for living the life that they're trying to sell to people. It's like, what's going on here? Pick a lane here.
Yeah, it's such a minor little thing. Anyway, all that being said, I do have like a little bit of a cognitive disconnect with it, because as much as I think the whole thing is bullshit, I do think gun laws are good things and you should follow them.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like fine, but like I said, it's just funny how the pro gun nut
Yeah.
jobs are I mean, I did see some, I didn't read all, but like my favorite are like the Republicans like Charlie Kirk complaining like, oh, it's not enough. He needs to face like they're like
Like,
pissed
yeah.
that he's charged for this and not for like other stuff or something. And it's really
Yeah.
fun.
It's just weird. I mean, like I and it gets worse every day. I don't know how the Republicans can do it. Like demand that Trump not be prosecuted, but demand that Hunter be. I mean, it's like it's exhausting hearing these, and it's getting more so. These conflicting, contradictory, hypocritical viewpoints. It's like nonstop. I get people are. I said the same thing last week. I get that people are complicated, and you can have like weird views, like that don't necessarily seem to align. But these are just so dramatically contradictory opinions
They're
about like
annoying.
fucking everything, you know?
Yeah, like
So
Lauren Boebert's like son, didn't he get like or no,
she,
her husband got arrested. Didn't her husband, ex-husband just faced like got 6 months probation or
yeah,
something?
and her son is still awaiting trial for a bunch of felonies, doesn't even have a lawyer. And Bobert's like talking about Hunter Biden being a felon. I mean, like, h- how it's just
I
so weird.
these people
Like
are
your
fucking ridiculous.
son made like sex tapes with a minor and stole a bunch of credit cards and like was I mean, it's just like crazy. And she's like bitching about Hunter Biden. Like, how do you say stuff like that? Like,
I
it's
can't stand that woman. My fear is that
she's
she's
gonna
gonna
win.
get in because
Yeah,
there's so many candidates running
yeah,
and
she is.
all she has to do is win like by like 17% or 22%, whatever. That's my fear, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I don't think anything's gonna come out of the Hunter Biden thing. It's like whatever. It's just pettiness, it seems like.
yeah. It's
I mean,
also
they said it's like going after someone for jaywalking. That's what some people compared this to. Like, it's like, yeah, there's a crime that was committed, but it's such a,
yeah,
I don't know. It's like, yeah, well, fucking Kyle Rittenhouse took a gun that he wasn't allowed to have and
yeah,
killed two people and maimed someone else, and he didn't go to jail.
right. Like why wasn't federal charges brought against him?
I don't get
I
that.
mean, like, but I think underneath it all, to me, is what a shitty thing to
Well,
do.
technically, he
Like,
is a piglet, so he might not actually have to respect human laws. Maybe that's
it's
how he gets away with it because he's technically 100% pork.
yeah, but it's such a shitty thing. Like, Joe Biden's an older guy, and he had like all these tragedies. He's lost two of his children already. He's
Yeah,
outlived two of his
yeah. I saw
children.
some psycho like say that he's a horrible father because two of his kids are dead or something, and I'm like,
Like, one had a brain cancer and the other was in an automobile accident.
yeah, died
Um,
with the mother. It's like,
right. And like he has one kid left who's like kind of turned his life
he
around for
has a
the most
daughter, right?
part.
He has a daughter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just yeah, no, you're right. But he has a son left, uh, and he's kind of turned his life around and everything. And the Republicans are just like nonstop attacking his child. Like, even like and he's not in politics. He's not in public life or anything like that. And it'd be like,
Yeah, so we got to investigate the
well,
what's his
like,
name? Trump's son-in-law and his daughter.
yeah. Or even like
Jared Kushner of the 2 billion they got from the Saudis.
now that
Hush
Barron
money.
Barron is a 18-year-old, an adult.
Fair game.
Why don't we? I mean, like, do you see like people at undercover party? I mean, like, no, because like generally speaking, like decent people don't necessarily want to target Trump's children, you know?
Well, the Eric and Donald Trump Jr. and
But
Ivanka.
they're actively involved. They're like political operatives. They have
Yeah,
official roles in
yeah,
politics. They have official, like Ivanka had an
yeah. Fuck,
official office.
Even fucking Laura
Yeah,
Trump. I mean, like they're
that's
fair
different.
fucking game.
That's different. So I think that's the part of me that's just like, yeah, this is really shitty. Like these are at the basic level are just like really shitty people. Like really shitty people. Not
Yeah.
like, you know, I don't return my shopping cart shitty. Like these are
Oh,
just
did you
like,
see that video of that woman who like this woman, she's like, I got 4 kids. I'm not gonna bring a shopping cart back. Fuck you. And people are like, yeah, that's great, but like, people hit into them,
yeah.
they get loose. You saw that, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Uh, I'm like, what? And I saw like she's on some show. I'm like, don't make this woman a celebrity. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. I almost always return my shopping cart. I will say at Walmart, which I go to every once in a while, sometimes the shopping cart return thing is so filled with shopping carts that the shopping carts have started pouring out of it into
Yeah.
the on, and I'm like, well, where am I going to put
I
this?
try to always put, if I can't get it, I try to put it that a car can't hit into it.
Right. Yeah. At the Walmart I go to, there's like a grass area
I don't
between.
shop at Walmart.
Anyway. Anyway, all
I'm
right.
more of
So
a Piggly Wiggly connoisseur.
I go to
I am
the Kylie Wiley.
To end the whole thing with Hunter Biden. I think the reality is that like it's kind of stupid because it's like Trump is a convicted felon. Joe Biden isn't. But
Right.
I think the way the Republicans work and how they message things and how they repeat things constantly, repetition, is as long as you say Biden convicted felon in one sentence. So if you could say
Yeah.
Hunter Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, is a convicted family. Biden is a convicted felon. That works for idiots who,
Yeah.
it's like it's all about how a headline can be said. It like the whole idea is that as long as the name Biden is attached,
Yeah.
it's fair game. They're like, oh yeah, he's a convicted felon. Just like we can't go if you're not going to go after Biden, you can't go after Trump.
Yeah. It also, and this is kind of a real shitty thing, is that like their goal is obviously to tear down Biden and to elevate Trump, but
Yeah.
their goal is also to tear down everything. Like like the people funding Trump, the big money funding Trump, and like
Yeah.
the outside interest they don't necessarily even like Trump. They just want to tear down American
Oh, they don't like
politics.
Trump because that's the Project
So
2025 thing. I think that really needs to get out there more and more that like Donald Trump is the Trojan horse for
he's a
Project
tool.
2025.
Yeah, he's a
He's
tool.
not even a Trojan horse. He is Project 2025. Like the 2016 Trump could have been called a Trojan horse for like
Yeah.
conservative politics, but he's proud of all the stuff, the right-wing shit that's happened
Yeah.
over the past couple of years. Like, so I would say no, he's one the same with them.
Yeah. So that's the thing, is that like even if this doesn't like hurt Biden per se, it hurts the country. It's like now that's a thing. Like you start now that's established practices that when someone goes into politics, you go after their children.
Yeah. I
That's
mean, he's
like
an
a
adult, but fine. Adult children are fair game.
yeah,
Yeah, fuck
you
it.
know?
Like Rush Limbaugh used to attack Chelsea Clinton all the time.
Yeah,
He would say that she was the family dog
yeah.
because they had
It's
a
just
cat.
it's so awful,
Yeah, I
but
know it's awful.
anyway. All right, so the
He
next
was
thing,
an he was an awful person.
yeah, right. The next thing was this Merrick Garland contempt charge. And this is another real weird thing that that has kind of like I don't want to say it's blown up or anything, but
I honestly haven't heard much about it until you started telling me about it.
he got held in contempt of Congress today. The Republicans had a vote and they held him in contempt. And I want to say the vote was like 208 to 207, something like that. The Republicans, got the vote. And their big complaint is that when the special counsel interviewed Joe Biden, the Department of Justice or the executive office only turned over the transcript. They didn't turn over the actual tapes, like the audio tapes or the videotapes. And the Republicans want those tapes. And Biden said, nope, you get the transcripts. I'm calling executive privilege on the other stuff. And they want the tapes. And Biden told them to go pound sand. And so they're holding Merrick Garland in contempt for not releasing those tapes. That's it. That's the whole story.
I don't know. I mean, again, it's just like, it seems like a fucking waste of time. We had like Bill Barr, who was absolutely horrible. Remember him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that guy was like willing to throw an election for Trump. I remember you being asked about that. I don't know. The Merrick Garland thing's stupid. It's like,
it's just dumb. It's another one. It's another thing where the goal is they don't even necessarily care if they get the tapes. I'm sure they want them.
You told me. Well, again, the whole goal is to distract and to make Biden
destroy the
weak and say that, oh, look, they're trying to hide that really true statement that he can't remember anything and he's like a dementia patient. What was it that we were talking before we started the podcast? And you're telling me like this is basically not this is the same, but like when the whole Robert Mueller thing, similar, where Trump was like, I'm not giving a shit or whatever.
Right. Mueller, back when Trump was under investigation, that Robert Mueller did a big 200-page report, and he gave it to Bill Barr, and Bill Barr said, well, you can't see the report, but I'm going to give you a 3-page summary of it. And the Democrats said, we want to see the report. And he said, you can't. It's executive privilege. And that was the end of it. They never got the report. I think at some point, like there was a more fleshed out version of it, but they didn't get hardly any of that stuff because Trump legitimately called executive privilege on it. I mean, that was the law. It sucks because you don't count on the president being a treasonous criminal, but that's the way the law was written. And what were the Democrats going to do? Go to the Supreme Court? I mean, like, just wasn't going to happen. So it's the same exact thing. The whole thing's ridiculous. With at least 4 of the Republicans demanding that he be held in contempt of Congress for not providing this. Those 4, Jim Jordan and Thomas Massie and Andy Biggs and Scott Perry, I think, they didn't show up for their subpoena. They're still under subpoena, and they're just not, and they're demanding other people go to prison for it. So again, it's just like really galling. I don't know. I don't know how I mean, obviously they have no problem doing it, but like that's where we're at. So,
yeah.
Well, anyway.
So what's going to happen out of this?
Well, they are demanding that the Sergeant of Arms of Congress take Merrick Garland into custody and put him in like the congressional prison cell that's in Congress.
Yeah, is that going to happen?
That will never happen. Not in a million years. So again, it puts Biden in, and that's what it's probably designed to do. It puts him in this weird position where he can either A, claim executive privilege, and it kind of looks like he's hiding something, or B, they can subpoena Merrick Garland, and then Merrick Garland won't honor the subpoena, and they'll be like, see, now no one has to honor subpoenas. Or C, Biden will like pardon Merrick Garland, and they'll be like, see, this administration is so corrupt that he has to
you should do the first one. Why does Trump get a fucking free ride all the time?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I think you should do the first one.
Well, that's what they're doing.
President, executive privilege is bullshit. Yeah. And it's like such a crock of shit. And again, this is all for the Republicans to try to make Biden look like he's mentally weak or whatever that. But the thing is, there's a debate supposed to be coming up.
Yeah.
At the end of June. But they're already warming the Republicans.
Yep.
Donald Trump, Fox News. They're already trying to get it out there, worming their way out of it. Sean Hannity is posing like that maybe Trump shouldn't do the debate, and Hannity pretty much is part of the Trump campaign, always
Yeah.
has been. So this didn't just come out of nowhere.
No.
Like Sean Hannity didn't just decide to say this. This
Right.
is no. I just do not believe that Trump will debate Biden. I don't think that's going to happen.
I have no idea. I don't know. I know. Look. Here's what I think I'm saying this objectively. Biden's real smart, and he's a really good speaker, and he's underestimated as a speaker, and they've kind of built Biden up as this sleepy old man that can't stand.
Yep.
And anybody who saw that State of the Union saw the exact opposite, and so he's gonna like knock it out of the park as per their expectations. So I know Biden's real good, and I also know that like Biden's really good at needling Trump, you know. And on the other hand, Trump's like a huge gloppy mess and all over the place, and he can't keep focused, and he says stupid shit all the time, and Biden will get under his skin, and the rules of the debate will get under his skin. So I think it's set up to be a monster Biden advantage. Now, I will say, you never know what's going to happen live. You know, if Biden like has a moment where he can't place a name, like earlier before we were
Well, remember,
recording.
Biden has a stuttering issue, so
Yep.
like one of those things where he, even during his State of the Union, there were a couple of times where he flubbed the line.
Yeah.
But again,
Yeah.
Trump said "arribity," ooh, like this.
Well,
This is the thing I can't stand about the right wing when it comes to Trump is it's like they'll go after and attack Biden, but they'll be like, yeah, we're gonna shove our dementia. Yeah, Biden's got dementia. His brain is gone. He's a vessel. He's a monculus or whatever. Here's Trump. He's gonna go spend an hour and a half talking about sharks.
it's crazy. I mean, like Biden's older. He misspeaks. He does stutter. Um,
He's
uh,
4 years older than Trump at
yeah.
that age. That is not a
No, he sounds like, honestly, like a lot of that's just real normal. Like before we started recording tonight, for a moment I couldn't remember Nikki Haley's name. It's like that's a big error. That's
why
that's
would
a.
you really need to remember her name?
And I'm just saying, like,
I know I'm just joking.
it's not like I'm trying to remember, like, Geraldine Ferraro's name or some, random,
right. Yeah, she's a
you
little
know,
more calm.
yeah. I mean, it's like Nikki Haley's like until very recently was a legitimate contender for the nomination, to
I
some
mean, to
extent.
be fair, no one in the Republican Party was a legitimate contender
True, yeah. But
unless
she was like a
unless
name.
Trump dropped out. She was
Anyway,
she was the closest thing, but
so if Trump could have a particularly good night and Biden could have a bad, that could be like really bad for Biden.
of
So there's
course that'd be really bad.
but like, geez, I have to think Biden's going to clean his clock.
I mean, I think there'll be enough clips on both sides where, again, they'll just even if there's just like one or two from Biden, they'll just get paid nonstop. But
Yeah,
Trump could have like 1,000 and they won't get the attention. If
right.
Biden clubs once, it's like national news. I don't know. I guess when it comes to Trump, it's like it's affirmative action. Trump,
Yeah.
we're just supposed to allow him and the Republican Party to seize power and not have any expectations for them.
That shark speech, after you and I had talked about that earlier, I went back. Such a weird thing. He's talking about his teleprompter. He was at a rally in like Vegas, and his teleprompter broke. And so then he said, this is why I don't pay contractors because they do a bad job or something, which is just like a weird thing to admit to. And then he goes on and he talks about electric boats. He said, I'm not gonna I'm gonna raise taxes on like non-renewable, like renewable energy sources, and lower taxes on like gas and diesel and shit. And then he said, if you have an electric boat, the battery's too big and it might sink the boat. And if there's a shark nearby, you have to decide whether or not you're going to get electrocuted or eaten by a shark. And then he said he'd be electrocuted because sharks are bad news. It's just such a fucking weird speech. I mean, it sounded like a high school, like a stoned high schooler, you know?
Yeah.
Um, that was bizarre. That was just and he has shit like that all the time, you know? Yeah. Oh well, I'm not worried about him in a debate.
I'm not, yeah, again, it's just like, it's the whole, like, if Biden flubs or Biden looks, pauses for like 2 seconds too
Yeah.
long, it'll be held at a higher standard than, like, I mean, Trump will just go out. What I could see Trump doing if he were to debate again is it would be a similar performance to the first debate where he just constantly interrupted Biden and just went on these long, bizarre tangents. And it got to the point where Biden told him to shut up.
Yeah, that was great. Well,
Like, that's how I feel like he'll come off but I just don't think he has the ability to debate anymore. I
well,
think he's done.
they said that the Biden team set up rules for the debate, and Trump kind of stupidly agreed to them. One of the rules is that there's going to be no live audience.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, and they said that Trump like feeds off of the audience. So there's going to be no audience.
He would put
And
plants in. You saw that he did a thing in Vegas recently,
yeah. Yep.
and it was like super hot. The joke is that he can't get these big arenas anymore because they stiff people all the
Yeah.
time. But I guess technically that was like a public place, but there was no shading for these people. It was like 100 degrees out. And then on top of it, you find out, and this is like every Trump rally, they pay people to be there. They
Yeah.
pay people $75. The Craigslist ad always gets out. It says they pay people $75 to be there. If they get on TV or get on the screen, whatever, then they get a $50 bonus.
Yeah.
And it's like, why is this not bigger fucking news that he pays people?
Well,
you read these dipshit Trump people are like, why is it that Joe Biden never has a rally? No one shows up to his rally. Like, yeah, Trump has rallies and he fucking pays people to go there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway, so there's going to be
So
no
whatever
audience.
the rules, sorry. Yeah, no audience.
It's no audience. And then another rule is like the moderators control the mics. So when Biden is speaking, Trump can't interrupt him with like wrong, you know, like they'll kill his mic.
Good.
And you know, vice versa. Like Biden can't interrupt Trump.
Yeah.
But like the last thing you want to do is interrupt Trump. You want Trump to talk as much as possible, you know,
Yeah,
but also. So the rules heavily favor Biden, not because they're unfair or whatever, but because they play to decency, you know. Anyway, that'll be I hope they do debate. I think it's 50-50, but I hope they debate. I mean, I think that'd be a great thing for Biden. Oh, anyway.
We'll see. I already, no fucking way. No way. Trump's not gonna do it.
Yeah, that could be possible.
It's gonna come up with some excuse. They're working on it. Like I said, it starts with Sean Hannity floating it. It's not 100% yet, but they're putting feelers out.
Yeah.
You know, they'll just say that the rules are unfair. You know, they'll come up with some bullshit.
Nonsense. Well, speaking of nonsense, there's a reporter. I forget her name. It's Lauren something. Lauren Whitcomb. Do you know her name?
I have to look. Reporter. What's the name of Alito's wife?
Martha. I want to say it's Martha Ann. Let's see, what is her name? It was Martha Ann Alito is the wife's name. It's not Lauren Whitcomb.
Lauren
It's
Windsor?
Yeah, Lauren Windsor is the reporter, and
She's went calling her a activist.
Well, she's a reporter, and she went undercover. She posed as a radical right-wing Catholic, and started talking with Samuel Alito and Martha Ann Alito. And Samuel Alito was like, there's two sides of this country, and we need to fight to make the country more godly, and this, that, and whatever. And
godly.
It's really fucked up, you know. Basically, not that it mattered, but like any court case having to do with religion, he needs to take a pass on, and he won't.
Yeah.
He won't, obviously. But then his wife sounded like some ratchety old racist biddy, and her big complaint was that when she peers across her lagoon, she has to look at a pride flag, which disgusts her.
Her lagoon.
Fucking lagoon. What is a lagoon anyway? I mean, I know it's
Like
a
something that'd be in a swamp. I mean, like,
is that like
wait, what's that? Sigmund the Sea Monster? Didn't he live in a lagoon?
Yeah, I think he did live in lagoon.
I saw a pride flag across my lagoon.
A lagoon is a shallow body of water separated from a larger body of water by a narrow landform,
Probably
such as
drinks
yeah. Anyway, so this fucking psycho.
I can't wait for my husband to retire so I can have all the flags I want.
Just like ratchety old racist bigot.
Yeah, I can't believe Samuel Alito's wife sucks. It's crazy.
The man's
she would have been a great person.
Right, and is offended by the presence of a rainbow flag. It enrages her that someone would dare fly a rainbow flag.
Heavens to purgatory.
Right, and these horrible people are just randomly rewriting our laws. They got rid of Roe versus Wade, Alito and Thomas, and they are sitting on all these January 6th cases and throwing charges out, and they're the ones responsible for whether or not Trump is immune from charges, and they're clearly ardently strident pro-Trump supporters.
Yeah.
They clearly hate gay people. They don't like gay people, and they're the ones that decide on whether or not Hobby Lobby gets to discriminate against gay people
or deny women birth control.
It's just crazy that, I mean, clearly when the founding fathers put together the country, they didn't anticipate this, I don't think. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah.
Jamie Raskin, I think it was Jamie Raskin, had a good plan. He said that like Merrick Garland can assert some authority over the courts. I don't know.
Will he? Isn't he always been kind of
milquetoast? He's super milquetoast.
That's why it's so funny going after him. It's like, really?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
So dangerous and edgy, Merrick
Garland. Yeah, you want to put Merrick Garland in contempt of court? Well, fine. I would also like to put him in contempt of court. I mean, like, yeah, I also have some bones to pick with him.
Mostly a disappointment.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's crazy, but they got him on record. I mean, like, this is real. That's not like, you can't just say, well, of course we know that. Now we do know that,
No, she sounds I listened to it today. She just sounds like a kook. Like Clarence Thomas's wife is like an evil Republican operative. She worked.
She's an activist. Yeah.
She's a right wing, going back to like probably her childhood, her family. Just straight up right wing fascist activist. I hate that word. I don't like the word activist used for fascistic policies. Like, activism to me is always like,
it's got a positive connotation.
You would think so. Like, I hate when they say, "Oh, they're a conservative activist." I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, just the word conservative these days is kind of fucked up.
No, but I mean, like, what the fuck is a conservative activist? Is that like an oxymoron? Like, what? But his wife, Samuel Alito's wife, just sounds like a fucking kook. She sounds like like I said, a background player in a John Waters movie or something. Like, she's the lady. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Serial Mom. She's like that goes to the video store and gets like Annie, and then goes home and eats like a piece of meat and sits there and just watches the sun will come out tomorrow. And her dog's like comes and licks her feet. She's basically that lady. Like, and then Serial Mom comes and kills her.
I kind of think of her as more like if Lovey Howell was racist, like if
who?
Lovey Howell.
The wife from the millionaire's wife
Yeah,
from Gilligan's
Gilligan's
Island.
Island. Like if Lovey
Oh,
Howell
I'm
was
sure
a
she
bigot.
was racist. I'm sure the character was racist too.
Okay, good point.
Yeah, good point. Remember when
If,
Bess would show up on the island? They always
oh
got
yeah,
off though. They
yeah.
always got off the island, man.
Yeah, there's usually some sort of thing where the people on the island had a way to return them, but couldn't take advantage of it themselves.
Right.
And they would say, like, remember us, and they never did. Yeah. Oh,
I just remember an episode where like a Beatles type band shows up on the island.
yeah.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, the Harlem Globetrotters showed up once, I think.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
This island could not have been that far.
No, it was a 3-hour tour.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah, I mean, like how far out of the bay are we
it
talking?
could only have been an hour and a half away if they were
Right.
planning on returning.
Yeah.
So it's not even 3 hours offshore.
Like what, an hour and then like an hour around and then an hour back?
And these weren't just like nobodies. These weren't like spring breakers. This was a millionaire and his wife, a movie star, and a scientist. That would be like,
I mean, don't give a fuck about the Marianne.
Yeah.
Or Gilligan.
Right. Those people were nothing but like this was like a legit straight up like 3 of them were celebrities.
You think there'd be a search party for the movie star?
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. The movie star alone, but like tossing a scientist and a millionaire. Back then, back then a millionaire was like a billionaire is today.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that little sub thing, the Titan submersible, it would have been like that. Like you'd have the fucking Navy
get
out
to the
there.
island, save Thurston Howell.
This is literally like 90 minutes offshore. That can't be more than like 30 miles. So anyway,
they need a remake of that show.
Well, they said that the show Lost was supposed to be a remake of like Gilligan's Island meets Survivor meets something like that. They had like they were mashing up 3 shows, and Gilligan's Island was one of them.
They should just do Gilligan's Island, make a new one, but don't try and make it serious. Don't do that bullshit. Like, none of that. Like, what's that Fresh Prince reboot they made?
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I saw like the previews. I'm like, this looks terrible. It's like a drama. I'm like,
yeah, no, it's just
Riverdale, all that bullshit. I want a dumb, campy show.
Right. Yeah.
Literally
making phones out of coconuts.
If you want to gender swap some things, go ahead. Make a movie star a dude, make the professor a woman. Woman better be fucking hot though. Better be hot.
Yep. Have Marianne have like a secret fentanyl addiction.
Sure. No teeth too.
Yeah.
We're missing a tooth at least. And then yeah.
Good show.
What?
It's a good show.
Yeah.
All right. So the next thing, and this is like I feel this is kind of a shitty
I don't even want to talk about this because it's like Democrats planning on what to do if Trump wins. Like, how about you make sure he doesn't win?
Right.
I like that.
I think that's the real thing is like you're not going to proof anything. You're not going to Trump proof anything. Like if you say, oh, well, we put these environmental regulations and we're going to put language in there saying like they're good for 10 years. Literally the minute Trump is in office, he will just go to his attorney general and say, I think this is invalid, is it? And the attorney general would say, yes, sir. And then the Supreme Court would be like, that's your call, Trump, you're the king. And then it would be gone. Like you're not going to
good to be the Trump.
Right. You're not going to outsmart like a bulldozer, right? Like those are 2 different battles. Like the Democrats are playing like, okay, of course they'll have to follow the rules if we set up the rules. No, that's
so
not
you have the rules set up. If you don't get the House back, you lose the Senate too. Like
you do, and even if it doesn't matter, if someone doesn't follow the rules, they're not going to follow the rules. You're not going to invent better rules, and Trump's going to be like, they got me on this one.
Me being a 34-time convicted felon really learned my lesson this time.
Yeah. I mean, they need to put zero effort in, you know, do what you can. Like,
Well, I mean, I get it. Have like something going on, but like maybe the majority should be to make sure this fucker doesn't win.
yeah, right. Put most of your efforts there, you know.
Yeah, I don't know what else is there to say about it,
Nothing.
but
That's it.
I don't know if they'll be able to because we got senators like John.
Yeah.
Okay, so John Fetterman,
Uh-huh.
I felt like when he was running, he got well, I knew who he was for years. Like he was like
Yeah.
a frequent guest on Bill Maher back in the early 2000s. And then he's, he was around and he became the lieutenant governor of
Yep.
Pennsylvania, and he got a lot of accolade around the time Trump was trying to steal the election with all his lawsuits in every state, Pennsylvania
Right.
being one of them. And he just, him being this huge presence on TV and everything, he was able to get like a lot of attention. And he announced he was going to run for Senate, and he seemed like he was pretty progressive. And it was like, oh look, we might get like a younger guy who's like Bernie Sanders like successor, because
Right.
Bernie ain't gonna be around forever.
Right.
But this guy could be around longer, and then he has he has a stroke when he runs, which is like, oh shit, because he's going against Dr. Oz. He knew Dr. Oz was going to be a shitty garbage senator, fucking just awful, absolutely awful senator.
Right.
Then John Fetterman, he's healing, and then you find out he had like other strokes, and then he got into a car accident. And since Israel, since October 7th, and all the events have happened in Israel and Israel's constant bombing of Gaza and everything, John Fetterman came out and was so like obnoxiously pro-Israel, like
yes,
to the point where it was like, what's going on here? Like, you don't
yeah,
have to do 50% of the shit you're doing. You don't have to do more. Like, you're going way too far.
Yeah.
Like, really obnoxious, Pat. And then he starts doing all this bullshit, like, oh, I'm not getting more conservative. The left is just getting crazier. Like, he's literally doing that meme. He went on like Bill Maher recently and said like progressives are giving up on him. And I'm like,
yeah,
oh no. I'm like, not this shit again. So the question is, okay, he can do whatever bullshit he wants. Has his voting record changed yet? That's what I'm concerned. Is he going to squash important bills like Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin, who thankfully next year will not be in the Senate?
I don't think so. I think he's voted like you would expect, maybe not 100% on the party line, but he's voted in the ways you would hope he's voted.
I know he got weird with the whole was it the fake meat thing or whatever? What's that stuff called again?
Like plant-based meat or something?
No, artificial, the meat that's being
the cellular yeah.
Like he's like, I agree with you, Ron DeSantis, and it was like, what? No, you're not supposed to agree with Ron DeSantis, you fucking idiot. And then he when that whole Marjorie Taylor Greene thing happened with Crockett, and she called her that bush body or whatever. John Fetterman did some bullshit,
right?
Middle of the road crap, and then AOC called him out and was like, dude, you're supposed to like back us, you fuck. Like, I mean, is he just going to become another shitty that shitty senator that the Dems always have a couple of? Like, what the fuck, man?
I don't think he'll ever be that. I think the Israel thing is kind of a weird thing.
Well, it's like somebody made a joke and said that like his positions change. He seems to getting hit on the head, having a head injury, and then his politics change. Like someone's gonna hit him with a frying pan constantly, get him to change his positions and votes. I don't know. We'll see when his voting record, like when we have hopefully Biden wins and Biden gets to choose a Supreme Court justice or two. John Fetterman doesn't cause a problem.
Yeah, I'll chalk some of this up to he is a little rough around the edges and kind of just like talks off the top of his head. And I do know that the media loves this kind of story. The Democrat who's sick of being a Democrat, so I think a lot of it's overplayed. I think I wish Fetterman was maybe a little savvier in handling some of that stuff, but we'll see. I don't have any huge concerns yet, although it's frustrating. So.
It's annoying, and like I said, I just feel like it's only gonna get worse. I don't think it's
Yeah,
gonna stop.
I agree.
And
Well, and
it's like, what the fuck, man? What a bait and switch bullshit, you know? Like, and we get it. He's gonna be better than Dr. Oz no matter what, but like,
right.
that's a bait and switch bullshit. You know, it's like people like,
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think he'll flip parties. I don't think he'll do any of that. But like, just I don't want to hear that bullshit. Like
I don't
progressive
either.
have left me. I've always been the same. Like that's some like that's such a like that's a the typical grifter they call it. Like it's such a generic cliche thing to
Yeah.
do a whole like, oh, the party just got way too progressive for me.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
I've always been this way. Yeah, it's so stupid. All right, next
Yeah.
one.
Okay, so we got these two stories that are kind of linked, but in the sense that they're both from Ron DeSantis. The first one was that Ron DeSantis had pushed through this anti-trans law that basically outlawed transitioning, and they built it up as like kids can't transition, but this prevented like adults from
Of
transitioning
course,
too.
it was such bullshit. It was just an attack on trans people as a
Yeah,
whole.
yeah, and again, it's like it's kind of an invented problem. There aren't like 8-year-olds out there getting surgeries. There just aren't. I mean,
Yeah.
like that's not a thing. Uh, so the courts blocked it, and they said that it's illegal. That's no longer a law. And at the same time, while he was running for president, he came up with this thing where he didn't have to share his travel records. He said it was for security, it was this or that or whatever, but he
Yeah,
just wanted to
whatever.
hide the fact that he was spending bajillions of dollars of the state's money on running for office,
Oh, it is they abuse it. They probably use it for personal trips. His wife probably
Well, he
used it
took his
for
whole
personal trips.
family, and yeah, it was
You
really
remember
brutal.
I told you that story. You know there's shit when like I remember WWE were in Florida and instead of Ron DeSantis like just attending a WWE event that's in Florida, he had to have his own personal show.
Yeah,
And the wrestlers were like, "What the fuck, man?"
yeah. I mean, it's a lot.
Like he's
Um,
the king of Florida or some bullshit.
Well, the courts today blocked that too and said, no, no, those are the public's records. You got to show them. And this kind of goes back a while, like
Well, that
a
would
while.
probably he probably doesn't want that out either because of all that shenanigans with remember the whole Martha's Vineyard bullshit
Well,
with that
yeah,
flight.
that's probably a part of. There's probably all sorts of things he wants hidden.
Yeah,
Um, and so,
probably money allocated, like money stolen.
well,
Probably allocated for important things.
this is a problem with Ron DeSantis going way back. He signed a law saying that if like people were protesting in the street, you could run them over. And then that got blocked by the courts, obviously. So he passes all these laws. People have to deal with the bullshit of these laws, and then they always get thrown out. And he's won by that point. He got
Yeah,
to push. It's just real frustrating. Anyway, Florida's in like rough shape with a bunch of things. Um, and I'm curious to see. I know a few people have said Florida might be in play. I don't think that's the case,
no,
but
no way, not on a national level. Mm-mm.
well, no, and they've kind of like they purge voter rolls often. I mean, they've kind of gone out of their way to make it real difficult for people Democrats to win. Um, but I am curious. Ron DeSantis used to be a very popular governor, and he's not anymore. He's not unpopular, but he went from like popular like approval ratings from like the top 5 to
Did he
now
have
like
a high approval rating in Florida?
he used to. Yeah. In general, Florida's easy enough when things are going right because um a lot of the engaged people are pretty wealthy. They move down there. They have second homes. I mean, it's a very bizarre state. It's real transitory.
Yeah,
Um, a lot of the money is based off of things like tourism and hospitality and agriculture too, I guess. But like it's a different kind of state. But right now it's the big problems are it's often underwater. It floods constantly down there now. My brother sent me a photograph from where I used to live. There's cars literally stranded because they're just covered in water. And I know this is the next thing. We're not done with Florida yet, but like housing costs are crazy down there. It's hard to get a house. It's hard to get insurance. It's just bananas. I showed you a photograph of a really shitty looking home
That was
going,
cartoonishly ridiculous.
and it sold. That wasn't like, oh, look at this oddity. That home sold
That was a
for,
sold house that you showed me.
yes, for
Where was it?
$420,000. Florida City, Florida, which is like a half hour southwest of Miami, near Homestead. It's not a city. It's like a little town. It's pretty depressed. It's like an agricultural little area. That home was literally a cinder blocks rectangle with 3 rooms, and it wasn't near the water. It was an old home. It was in bad shape. 420 grand. Small lot, like a third of an acre lot. It sold pretty quickly too. Sold in under like 60 days. That's crazy.
It is.
So, yeah, I don't know. That's bad. I mean, that's all bad for Florida. But
Well, they keep voting for shitheads, and like you said, so Ron DeSantis can't run again, but I guess he could get his wife to run.
yeah, his wife is like a front runner now, like, and not officially, obviously, but like, I don't. That's an odd one. I mean,
She sucks.
she's terrible. But yeah, Florida, and I guess that's a decent segue into the housing thing. I think that's going to be a big issue that not a ton of people are talking about yet. I know I didn't come up with that myself. I've seen people say this, but I haven't seen a lot of people say this. It's real hard to own a house now. There's so many people that can't buy a house. Interest rates are crazy high. It's not like uh where you can like pay it off. If you get an interest rate, you're gonna like get stuck in that interest rate for a while. You could refinance, I suppose, but you got to go new closing costs and shit like that. Um, Younger people, and it's not just like young people. It's like now there's almost a generation of people that are probably not in the housing market, And you and I have talked about this a bunch of times before. That's the only real wealth generator that most regular people have, is
I mean,
buying a home.
the reason why people were like taking multiple mortgages out of their house because it was something that they had that they could borrow off of.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you do everything right and you just buy a home and you live in it and you pay on it, in theory, even if you're paying a high interest rate, in theory, that should grow in value, right? Like you should eventually like
That's
be
where you
able to.
live, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, even if you live in a bad area, it's not gonna like it's rare that it decreases. I mean, it can, like if they build a garbage dump next to where you live, or I mean, it's stuff like that happens, But like generally, you're
I'd be like, how the fuck did this happen? If a garbage dump up my I'd be like, why are you right here? This seems like intentional. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I know what you mean though.
well, yeah,
Unfortunately, the one thing that tends to bring value down from houses is when they put like affordable housing stuff up, right? That
that'll
can
happen. I know sometimes they'll build a big road,
dude.
and
I
that'll
remember
happen.
when I was living in Chico, my boss bought a house, and he was like, it was this new development that was like a little further out in the town. Wasn't that far because Chico wasn't that big. It took like 20 minutes to drive from one end to the other, really, without traffic. He bought it was like this town, and they lied, and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna have our own downtown here. It's gonna be coffees and stuff. You can get all this, like, because downtown Chico was nice. We lived near. We would walk there all the time. Like, we were walkable. It was great. And he was like, oh, we'll have another downtown here. And that never happened. There was like undeveloped areas. And then the thing that was like the icing on the cake was he finds out So there was his house, and then there was a house next to him, and then there was this open space.
Oh Jesus! All
And
right.
he was told when he bought the house what was going to go there. They were going to make house more like another house or two. That's not what happened. He found out they were putting like an affordable housing,
Oh man.
like a building or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And he went to like he was like on the paper. He went to like meetings. He was so because he got fucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
That guy sucked anyway. He was a piece
Oh,
of shit.
anyway.
So I have no
Well,
sympathy for him. But
I
I remember the story and I was just like, and he would always ask me, "You gonna buy a house here?" I'm like,
no.
no. Especially after I hear your story. I will say, I mean, if I owned a house in California, let's say,
Oh yeah.
and I paid it off,
Right.
on average, at least at the time when I lived there, houses were selling for like 700,
Oh, I'll bet.
800,000. It
Yeah.
didn't even matter where you lived. You could just
Right.
live like San Chico. And then I would taken that money and move to Texas, get a
Mhm.
much bigger house for like less than half,
Yeah.
and then have like half the money to live off of or invest or whatever.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
like this guy I knew did that basically. He lived in California. They owned like a freaking condo or something that was paid off, and it was like ridiculous. I was just like,
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think that's a big hidden issue or an emerging issue. I think Biden needs to do so. I think they need to put someone out there that's like this is what we're doing to make it easier to buy a home,
well,
or
remember like when the housing, like when I moved, of course, that's when it was like crazy. It was like right around the tail end of the pandemic, and the housing market was going insane. Of course, that's the time we
yeah,
moved. Typical how that works out. And around that time, though, when I was getting a house, all these corporations were just buying up houses. Like I
yeah,
remember we were looking for houses. There were houses that were basically Zillow houses, and let me tell you, all the Zillow houses that our realtors showed us were awful. They were like worst paint jobs. Like
yeah,
it was bad, but like there's a reason why we're in one. I mean, and like boomers aren't giving up their houses.
right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Um, I do know though that's something they should look at.
I mean,
Uh,
what could they do, honestly? I mean,
well,
like,
that's the problem is, I mean, like they could expand loans, FHA loans. They could do things like incentivize builders, like give them tax breaks. Like if you build, I guess these would be like investors too, but like if you build uh X amount of homes and you make some of them lower cost or whatever, then you can get a tax break on it. We'll give you a tax break. Like if you're
yeah,
selling, or they could say like we're going to give special financing to people buying homes under 300,000, and so then that might incentivize people to kind of race down to 300,000 when they're selling homes. Like instead of starting at 329, we're going to start this home at 299,
yeah,
and that way I can move them off the lot quicker or something. I mean, I'm not like a housing policy expert or anything, but like just off the top of my head, I know of programs that help. Like I got my first home I bought on the FHA loan, 3% down. And it was, I could only buy a certain amount of home. Like I couldn't buy a mansion with it. Uh, I could accept, like a gift from my dad. My dad gave me like $1,000 towards closing. I mean, like there's a few little oddities that I could take advantage of that I couldn't have with a traditional mortgage. Got an FHA mortgage and it helped me buy my first home. So shit like that, that stuff actually works. And I think they should. It wouldn't take much. Just put someone in charge of that. Let them go to town.
yeah. I don't think any of that's gonna happen this year,
I think it's too late for it to happen. Is the real thing? Is
unless he
that like,
gets reelected.
yeah, but the point with this would be like this would be a good tool to get reelected. It'd be a good thing to do. Period. You don't want to just throw money at people because that's what happened last. Is they did a lot to get people in homes, and the people couldn't stay in the homes. They didn't know how to manage money long term. Like they didn't plan on insurance and taxes going up each year. they got their house payment the first year and they thought that was going to be it forever.
Oh yeah, that's the fucked up part. Taxes constantly go up.
Yeah,
every year.
And people don't. First time home buyers don't know that, and even if you tell them that, it's like it's hard to appreciate.
Insurance can go up too.
Yep, they'll think, oh well, I'll just make more money next year. That doesn't always happen.
No, your amount of money you make, I mean, unless you move up and get or you get another job or whatever, your cost of living expense. Let's say you get a cost of living raise. Some companies just give out like 2 to 3% on average.
Most companies will give out 3% a year.
Those raises suck. If you have a 6-figure salary, those raises are great. But if because you're just your percentage is higher, it's like, oh, cool, another couple of grand. But if you're starting low, it's like, oh, cool, I got a $400 raise. I'll go do nothing with that.
Yeah, and your insurance went up $700.
Yeah, exactly.
You fall behind each year.
Yeah, the cost of living never matches up, so it's bullshit. But I don't know.
Yeah,
the big problem, and I feel like we're in such a standstill right now. I feel like this is such a weird year. I wonder if movies aren't doing well and a lot of things aren't well because people are like, okay, there's psychopaths that want Trump back in, but okay, let's say this fucker gets back in.
Right.
The fuck's nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's happened. Nothing good is going to happen. It's going to be just like hell. It's going to be like predatory capitalism. You think the housing market's going to get better if Trump gets in?
No.
They'll put in, they'll put in some fucking bullshit, and then they'll come back and hit us in the ass like 2 years later, 3 years later. Right? They'll come in and hit us in the ass right when the next Democrat comes into office or something. You having a problem?
No. There's a loose cat in here. It momentarily distracted me, but the cat's fine.
Yeah, another cat again?
No, it's just the same cat. It's just I did not think the cat was in here. Well, I think I
just feel like we're at this weird limbo right now. I feel like nothing's gonna get done. It's just like this.
Well, I think you're right. I think people are in a holding pattern until they figure out who's going to win this next election, and once that happens, then people will make the decisions.
So let's say Trump loses, which let's hope he does. Does that mean he's dead? He'll just go away, and we'll still hear from him.
He could theoretically run for president a million more times. Like
at that point, he'll just become like Linda LaRouche or something.
Yeah, he'll become like Ron Paul or Ralph Nader or something. But realistically speaking, those trials will eventually come and get him. He committed a lot of crimes.
If he loses, he's fucked. Actually, he'll probably.
Then you might seriously get well, like Biden couldn't even pardon him for some of those crimes.
Oh, why?
I wouldn't either, but I'm just saying, like, if I don't know,
I would have pardoned you, but you're such a piece of shit.
Right.
You're horrible. You don't play the same. Right? You don't play the game, right?
No, that's it. You don't play the game. I'd put him in the same cell as Hunter.
You make everything personal.
Yeah. That is it. He's so thin-skinned and aggrieved. It's like dealing with a trembling, emotional middle schooler.
If Biden wins, let's hope, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna pardon Trump, right? But again, like you said, it wouldn't matter because he still has all these other crimes from state crimes that Biden can't. Well, let's say he just pardons him, whatever, and he invites him over. And then, oh yeah, we'll have a big thing. We'll do a whole handshake, and then he goes to shake the hand, and then Biden just goes, round spins and just goes, "You're not getting pardoned, motherfucker."
Moonwalks off the stage as the cops come up. It's like,
get him, boys.
A big butterfly net.
Goes to shake his hand and then goes, "Woo." I don't think so.
No. All right, so we got two things left. The first one, there's not really anything to say about it, but I watched this video.
Video is insane.
It's crazy. It was a rodeo in Oregon, Pendleton, Oregon, which is out near the
everyone thinks Oregon, they think Portlandia, and they're like,
no,
it's like Portland. 90% of Oregon's like the Bundy clan.
Yeah, 90% of Oregon is like Western Idaho. And this
Literally,
is
right? It's
yeah,
west of Idaho. So
it
yeah.
is. Well, Pendleton's like right near Idaho. So anyway, they're having a rodeo and they're playing Proud to be an American, and they're just kind of like abusing these bulls. And one of the bulls, a guy named Party Bus, does this epic leap into the stands.
The bull is called Party Bus.
That's the bull's name, was Party Bus.
He's just partying, dude. He's just
Yeah.
partying a little too hard.
And he
They
got
sing, well, you hear "Proud to be an American," and then like it's just the perfect. It hits like whatever crescendo in the song, and that's when the bull jumps over and crashes into the crowd, and it's almost like you're watching. Man, what was that movie with like? It's like a kaiju movie, but it takes place in New York, and it's like it looks like a documentary, like someone's filming it.
Cloverfield.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden you get like another shot, couple other
Yeah.
shots of the bull, and I feel like you're watching like Cloverfield, like a
Yes.
found footage document. So like the bull jumps, and then the next scene is like the outside area.
Right.
It's like just people standing there, and the bull just comes and just fucking wrecks. Like I think it's a woman, right? Just
I think it's a
wrecks-
woman in a red sweater.
just- and then there's another angle, and she just looks like you ever watch like Married with Children when like
Yeah.
blood would get thrown across the room.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
it was clearly like a shitty mannequin. Like
right.
it looked so fake. Like that's what it looked like. And I'm like, she's alive, right?
Yeah, they all lived, best I could tell. And I haven't seen any like, you know,
That cannot have felt good. I mean,
she
like
got wrecked. Like
that
just
thing. I was making a joke. I said to you that like that this person who went to it was like got talked to
right,
to her
right.
friend. She's like, I don't want to see animals being abused. I don't like that. I think it's exploited. I'm like, come on. We'll go to this, and then we'll go out to eat after. We'll go do bowling.
Yeah.
Like, fine, but I'm not gonna sit. I'm not gonna watch. I'm gonna hang out in the back and like
right, have some nachos or something.
Yeah, have it by the concessions. And she's just sitting there, like, all right, how long is this thing going? And a fucking bull just comes running at her at full speed.
It is that she just got
I made
wrecked.
that up. That's a joke. That's not a scenario, but it would be.
That would be funny. Yeah, I got a quote here. There's no deaths, just 3 injuries. Mike Corey, the owner, said Party Bus didn't intend to injure anyone.
Party Bus.
Corey says he feels bad about it for all injured, and added that it was fortunate no one was seriously hurt.
I can't imagine no one got gored. I mean, especially that person who got like flipped up and down and like had to have gotten like she's got like permanent damage to her body. There's no fucking way she recovers from that.
This says all she had was a broken nose and a broken arm. And yeah.
That's insane.
Anyway,
I'm surprised she didn't have like broken ribs, broken fucking hip, broken.
This is actually a nice story. Corey, who also owns Corey and Lane's Rodeo, said Party Bus is now sentenced to remain at home and breed with cows, continuing a line of successful rodeo bulls.
Party Bus.
Party
That's
Bus.
bullshit. Party Bus was fucking put to sleep.
Party Bus.
Oh yeah. You know what? Let's make some more Party Buses. You know what? We're gonna retire Party Bus. He's partying a little too hard. Well, we're gonna have him sit at the farm and fuck all the
bang
cows all day, making all kinds of Party Buses. It's like the original. It's like the ending of Little Shop of Horrors. You ever see like the original cut where everyone gets the pet Audrey? Audrey doesn't die, and all of a sudden there's like giant Audreys just walking through town. Wrecking everything, 100-foot Audreys everywhere, and just the world gets destroyed. That's what's gonna happen with Party Bus.
That would be awesome.
Fucking just attacked by multiple Party Buses, and
well, especially
that fuck. But everything about that scene with the music playing,
and the music,
and the bull, you're like, oh, it's cool. The bull's running around, and they're like, oh wait, it's not supposed to do that.
This woman gets wrecked. I mean, just like
it jumps into the stands. Like, fuck people up too.
Well, if you listen to it I recommend you watch it, and I recommend you listen to it with the volume way up, because the crowd.
You're talking to the goats. Listen.
Yes. Oh yeah, the crowd is great. You hear like what the fuck? Like, you hear, like, some woman like, holy shit. Like, just like the crowd noises are exactly what you would imagine people to say, like that's
The party
whoa.
bus thing is so funny too, because what it does now is it's like he's like Spuds McKenzie.
Yeah.
It's like party bus doesn't mean any harm. Party bus
Right.
like to do two things: party and
Fuck shit up.
fuck cows all day. Party bus style.
Yeah.
like like I feel like now party bus was just got a little
It's
wild.
a misunderstanding.
I
Well,
can't. I don't believe that Party Bus is alive anymore. I think that's some
no.
bullshit they tell people.
He
But I just love how
he'll
the crowd's like, they're like, well, no one died, and
yeah. I read some of the comments. I guess it was like a pretty
I see
depends
that
if it's a real
idiocracy.
this one the people in there because I guess they just started the rodeo back up again after they corralled Party Bus
That
and some
night, the
yeah
rodeo kept going. Yeah,
some guy is like that's the difference between us and liberals, we don't give up. I'm like, dude,
really, that was an actual line.
that was a comment on Twitter. It wasn't like at the rodeo,
That's
but
interesting. Us and liberals, we're fucking dumb. We drink raw milk, squeeze down a packet of ivermectin, and get rammed by bulls.
yeah, I'll bet you the survivors though all look like
They're all
cotton
in full body
from
casts, like
from
in
King of
a
the Hill, literally like a foot shorter than they used to be.
yeah, they're all wearing like cotton, like
Yeah,
Hank's
yeah,
dad, and
right.
they're all missing their shins, and they all
Or
have complimentary party bus shirts that says
his
like "I survived like the party bus." I don't know.
his his
I got my world rocked by a party bus.
his vertebra shrunk from like 36 inches to 18. Like just
Yeah, he's like 4 discs removed from his spine. Like they're wearing shirts that says like "I rode the party bus" or something.
right.
All I got
The
was
guys, there's now only 3 inches between the guy's nipples and belly button.
party. I didn't know that the boss name was Party Bus, and this makes it so
Hey,
much fucking funnier. Like, oh man, that's really horrible. I can't believe it's awful what they do there. You can't blame the animal for doing what it does. Um,
can't blame
hopefully
the
they have to euthanize it or whatever, and we need to really put some laws in. Oh, you know what, brother? Party Bus got a little out of control. Wait, what did you say the bull's name is? Party Bus. Oh, really? Oh, well, then you know what? I take
carry
it all
on.
in.
He's like,
It just
you
makes it so
can't blame the
silly.
bees for buzzing.
Yeah,
Can't blame the
you can't
birds
blame
for singing. Can't
the
blame.
Party Bus for
Oh, he busts in like the Kool-Aid guy. Oh yeah.
yeah. It's like he's like the coolest. Yeah, you can't blame the Party Bus for jumping over the rafters, going through the fucking stands, and finding the first person that can to just fucking knock around for 10 minutes
Literally
up in the air.
flipped her around like a drunken Canadian at a flapjack convention. Just like um anyway. All right. So
That's awesome.
here's the last thing. Sadly, no one will ever know that I liked the party bus video because Elon Musk has he's hidden likes.
He has hidden likes so that Ted Cruz can now not be ridiculed for liking porn on 9/11.
Right. Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, like, what's the point? So, okay, there's two reasons for everything when it comes to Musk. Why is he getting rid of likes? What's his claim?
He claims that it I forget. He claimed that it like incentivized
Bad behavior.
yeah, something like that. It was like a real ambiguous thing.
All right,
Oh,
so he basically doesn't want to be ratioed anymore
right.
because
Right.
that's how you get ratioed is from likes. But likes aren't hidden.
But no, you can that's the thing. You can that's what I thought at
And I
first
could
was
see
that
who likes my shit. I just clicked likes, and I guess other people. I don't know. That's my post though. Let's see if I go on another person's post.
I thought at first it was going to be like how Instagram used to be like, well, we're not giving you a like count anymore.
Oh yeah, I can't click on. I could see my likes and who likes it, but I'm clicking
Right.
on another one's likes, and I can't
Right.
see. says 33 likes, and I can't see it. I mean,
Because
again,
Martha Ann Alito would like a lagoon account, which features pictures of lagoons, and Ted Cruz would like a lagoon account, but it's a French porn account called Lagoon. And
where he
they're,
just goons all
yes,
day.
they're two very
Lagoon.
similar
No,
accounts.
Lagoon all day.
But,
Lagooner. Lagoonier.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
well, again, it's like, okay, so it works in multiple ways. I've heard this for a while now, like early this year, that they were to get rid of likes, and I was like, okay, this is bullshit. And I think
right.
okay, not getting rid of likes, but who likes shit. Originally, he was just gonna get rid of likes altogether, but it's like, dude, that's how social media works.
Yeah, that is
That's
the
literally the
essence of it.
currency of social media.
Right.
That's why, like, Instagram and all these companies started screwing over artists and stuff, because they were like, oh wait, look, these likes can be very powerful for you.
Yeah.
Gonna start making it harder for you to get likes from people, so because they're not gonna see your stuff. So you could pay us to, and maybe you'll get some more likes out of it.
Right.
And likes lead to more people seeing stuff. The same thing on YouTube, and it's like while you watch every video, they always say please like and subscribe, because the like is the thing that gets
That's
more
it.
people to see it. That's how the algorithms game. Hiding likes though works in multiple. I figured when he first said he was going to get rid of likes or hide likes, that this was a nod to the idiots that pay him for a blue check mark. Because initially, all these schmucks thought that they were going to get way more interaction, but most of these moron accounts don't say anything interesting. They don't say anything that would make an account grow big on social media.
Right.
They're just parroting the same racist shit, repeating copy pasta, the same conspiracies, the same bullshit, same raw milk, same. And I figured that was his way to be like, oh look, likes aren't that important. Keep giving me $8. And they're like, oh, Elon, you're the best. How do you do it? None of the reason why you want to hide likes is because, let's say Elon Musk wants to like a white supremacist or neo-Nazis account. No one can say, oh, look, Elon liked this account.
Right.
I think that's I think that's like 100%. Well, because he had such a big following, and it's very easy to see who he likes, and he always likes horrible shit or reposts horrible shit, that people could be like, oh, look, head of Twitter's liking a literal Holocaust denier's tweet.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Like, anytime you start removing things, it's like, well, what was it broken? Why are you doing this? Like, no one was complaining. People want.
What's the point of fucking using this?
Yeah, people want like an edit feature. People want like a lot of the stuff he rolled out for the $8. People there are some stuff people want, but like getting rid of likes, I don't think anyone asked for it. I don't think anyone is
the likes aren't gone, but like he is hiding who is liking. Now, like I said, on my post, I could see who likes my stuff, but that's me seeing it. But I bet if you look at my post and saw the likes, you cannot click on it. Like I said, I went on another account and I can't see who liked this person's post.
You should just make an account and like tweet a whole bunch of really questionable edgelord stuff, and then reveal who liked it. Like
yeah, exactly. Yeah, look who liked this. But and again, this is like that whole sick thing that conservatives do. They like to push this whole like, oh, it's not like socially acceptable to like these things. So Elon is high that right-wing hate accounts will get even more likes now, because people feel safer.
I don't think
because they push the whole like, oh, a lot of people are really horrible and into horrible things. They just don't want to admit it because they're scared to lose their job.
I can't imagine that this is going to move the needle in one way or the other on that. Maybe
at
I'm
all.
wrong.
I think it hurts. I think it hurts Twitter altogether, and it makes it actually even more unsafe. But like I said, it allows people to like pervy shit, allow people to like probably child porn or child porn posts. It allows people to like again, Nazi shit, bigoted shit, anti-LGBT stuff with little to no consequences, because it's like, I can't see, like, hey, why is that actor or actress all of a sudden likes this account?
Right.
Well, can't see it now. But like you said, I guarantee you it will backfire, because I said, I could see it, and yeah, that would be actually a pretty funny thing. So you're saying someone should post a bunch of like racist shit,
Yeah, or like retweet, like amplify the terrible shit that's already out there. I mean, contributing to more racism, but like, and then just reveal these are the people that like these are the people that like this. You know, these are the accounts that are liking these terrible.
Yeah, I can
posts.
see this backfiring. You're gonna see a lot of posts like that.
The problem, I think, and this is probably like a greater problem, like societally, is that like information doesn't stay private. It just doesn't anymore. You know, I mean, like it doesn't. So someone will find, you have to live your life on the internet assuming that someone is eventually going to see what you've done. And unless you're okay with that, you know, then you may one day be open to a rude awakening, you know. I mean, I wrote all my Little Pony fanfic under a pseudonym, but someone may
John
find
Tingle.
it one day.
Joe Tingle.
Joe Tingle.
Joe Tingle.
Right. No, but like that's how you have to live. You know, it's like, I don't know, a lot of parents give their kids advice that like, don't do anything in private that you wouldn't be okay with people finding about publicly or whatever. And it's honestly like reasonably good advice. It may never happen, but you got to be ready for it.
Ted Cruz had a fucking hell of a day. He broke a record. He liked all the porn on Twitter.
So fancy, Lagoon.
Lagoon.
That's why he
Which
rushed.
is weird because you'd think he would be against anything French.
Yeah, he rushed to defend Martha Ann Alito when he heard she was into Lagoon. So
did you say goon?
I too am on Lagoon.
Lagooner like me, Ted Cruz.
She's well, like, anyway,
Ted, I am a fellow gooner.
Yeah. Anyway. All right.
Yeah, he posted a tweet, and it's the image of Stan's dad covered in a spooge from the episode of South Park. That funny image, and it just says Ted Cruz after liking all the porn on Twitter today.
Well.
They'll never know. Again, though, like I feel like, would it be okay? So we'll wrap this up in a second.
Yeah.
So Elon Musk gets rid of viewing who could like stuff.
Right.
But man, wouldn't it be so much more humiliating? Like, because like you said, any account can post something horrible and some idiot likes it or leaves a shitty, just something. And then you just post it, a screenshot of it, and like that blows up.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like Ted Cruz is like, what do you mean? I didn't know anyone was going to see me liking that horse porn, Like,
or honestly, like, porn. I don't see what could stop someone from just creating an image saying Ted Cruz liked this. And like now there's no record to disprove it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's the converse of it, is that like, if you can't prove what people did like, then you also can't prove that they didn't like. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird kind of whatever.
Well, again, this has come from Elon Musk, and I would say, has there been any good ideas that have come out of him since he bought Twitter that didn't predate him?
No, nothing. Twitter's become less and less of a working platform. I didn't tweet this today or whatever, but like I spend a decent amount of the time on Reddit, and I feel like Reddit to me feels like how Twitter used to feel. It's not the same. Twitter was a little different. It was quicker, it was faster, it had more movement, you had a little more, you weren't stuck talking about a specific, like when you're on Reddit, you're stuck talking about a specific topic. There's not like a free flow.
Yeah.
But like,
and if you don't post it 100% right, you get those idiots who are like, that doesn't fit this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, like,
this doesn't fit the Lagoon group.
Well, I was talking about the Acolyte on Reddit today, and a lot of other people were talking about it, and I was like, this feels like a great Twitter conversation. Now, the problem is that like only people who were interested in talking about the Acolyte were there. It wasn't like on Twitter. The fun part used to be, yeah. Well, on Twitter, like it used to be that like, oh, well, now people that didn't necessarily want to talk about the Acolyte would see it and start contributing. You're only dealing with people that want. But anyway, long story short, I think Reddit for me often feels a lot more functional, a lot more fun than Twitter. Twitter's just exhausting. So.
I don't know. I mean, there's days I don't use it, or I might post something early or whatever, and there's days I'm on it like way too much.
Yeah, that's all I am. I'm
it
more...
depends on what's going on. If there's like a big story, like of course I'm gonna like, and it's funny or in some way, I'm gonna post about it, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know. There's some days where I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. All right. Well, no show next week.
Yeah.
But we'll try to be back the week after.
Yep.
I don't think the debate, if the debate is happening, I think it's like is that supposed to be the 27th?
I think it might be, because I think it might be, I think I might have to record it.
Yeah, the debate would be Thursday. So
yeah, because I am going to see a show that night.
Yeah.
And
well, if not, if it even happens, we'll talk about the week after.
Yeah.
But yeah. So until then, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
You still good on about
that?
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day. Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day.